21. At least the clock on the wall says it is 6:31. But first, I need to announce we need to amend the agenda to add an action item to reappoint Audra Kaler as the town manager through December 31, 2026, pursuant to Article 3, Section 3.01 of the town charter. This needs to be done to comply with the charter. This appointment does not change the fact that Jody Hanson continues to serve as the town manager's delegate while Audra is unavailable on medical leave. And we need this is like a continuation of what we did earlier a couple of meetings ago of the other town appointments.
So we didn't do the formality of the appointment. So I move that we do make that appointment.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none opposed,
So is it done?
we will, that's a good point.
Was that motion to
We
amend
just
the
did it.
agenda?
That motion is to amend the agenda. You're
Oh,
correct.
Well, Ken's motion was to
Ken's motion was
approve.
actually to
So I think we
appoint her,
just did
so
it.
it was a little confusing.
It is. Thank you very much for the clarification. That you're correct. That is the, we need to vote. Whenever we add something to agenda late, we have to vote as a group in order to make that an action item.
Well, I move we add that to the agenda then if,
Thank you. Is there a second to add that to the agenda?
Yes, second.
All those in favor of adding that to the agenda?
and now I will move that we make
Where's
the.
We'll add that to the,
It's going to be in the action.
That'll be under action item.
Okay.
yeah, we'll supplant that as the first action item.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Next is the usual public comment on non-agenda items. Do we have any non-agenda items? Please, and if you do, just please state your name and where you're from, and then the item that you have. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Paul Quijano. I've lived on Trim Street for 50 years, and I'm pretty nervous being here tonight. So I thought I'd go first, get out of the way. I'm coming because a couple of things really upset me the last couple of weeks, and I kind of almost watched this first half hour and think I'm living in an alternate reality. A lot of what has been addressed considering the town manager, select board, is not what I've experienced, not what my family's experienced, not what my friends have experienced. We have been, last 6-7 years, we feel we have been unheard and to a certain point disrespected. And I think that that reflects on the select board, the ones that were in the minority prior to a month ago. And what I want to say is just really clearly what happened in the election is exactly what I wanted to have happen. It's what we fought for, what we talked to our friends about, what our friends talked to us about overwhelmingly. I mean, obviously, I've been here a long time. I hardly know anybody in this room. So I don't know what that says about the demographics of Camden these days, but obviously there are a lot of people who have had different experiences in town than I've had. And I'm thrilled that we have, I think the vote was an overwhelming mandate for change. You know, that it's time for change, to have some accountability in the town office, to have some accountability. And it would be very nice to see. It would be nice to see the committees that we used to have. We'd have committees that would help with local problems. Those things have gone by the wayside. Citizens had an opportunity to express their opinions, their expertise, and that kind of, unless it's been selected, I mean, that's another piece of this that has upset me because it's sometimes there's a feeling that there's a, the town manager and maybe a select board person have their own agenda. And that's kind of directed a lot of the issues in town. And that's, I guess that's the way it is in small towns. But I just wanted to say my piece. I'm thrilled you guys are here. We're really excited up on Trim Street on this side of town. I wish you guys the best. Be great to see you get down to work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Lee Scheuer, and my wife and I, Kim, live on 2 Penobscot Avenue here in Camden. I'm not an experienced public speaker, so please forgive me while I read my comments. I'm here this evening to express my strong support for preserving and restoring Curtis Island Lighthouse, the beacon that welcomes everyone arriving in Camden by water. For generations, this historic lighthouse has greeted boaters, visitors, and residents alike, serving as a symbol of our community's rich maritime heritage. The lighthouse and Curtis Island are more than an historic landmark. They are treasured destinations that enhance our local economy and are enjoyed by thousands of visitors each year. Preserving them is an investment in Camden's history, beauty, local business, and future. I hope you will support the restoration of Curtis Island and its lighthouse so that it can continue to welcome and inspire all who visit our harbor for generations to come.
Excuse me, just real quick, just so you know that we actually do have that item about the Curtis Island Lighthouse is actually going to be part of the discussion item tonight. It's item A. And you might want to reserve the rest of your comments for when that discussion item comes up.
Okay. It's just one more sentence, but that's
Very
fine.
good. Go for it.
Considering
Thank
the
you.
timing,
I was just taking advantage of the slight pause, but go
You're
ahead
very
and
kind.
finish.
I don't know obviously it's one of my first times here, so I apologize. for
No
that.
worries.
And so I hope you will support the restoration of Curtis Island and its lighthouse so that it can continue to welcome and inspire all who visit our harbor for generations to come. Should any of you wish to experience of being on the island, I will be honored to take you out. I assure you that you will enjoy the experience. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. In the back, please. Yes, sir.
This is a non-controversial item.
Your name?
Stephen
Sir.
Gold,
Thank you.
Grove Street, which is the topic of my comments. Having watched over the last several years, several streets in town getting handsomely rebuilt, I would just like to remind the board that Grove Street is in need of some serious work. It has real drainage problems. The middle of it is totally iced during the winter. And to enter Grove Street from Washington Street, the next day requires a chiropractic appointment. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else concerning non-agenda items? We've got two more. Go ahead, Mark. Okay, make that three. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. My name is Mark Ratner, resident of Camden. I am also the County Commissioner for District 3, which includes Camden. I have a couple items to talk about. Number one, people come up to me often and say, hey, what's going on with the call center? I don't see it in the news anymore. And that's because there's nothing to see. The call center is fully staffed. It's become a very robust place. We've changed the culture tremendously. There are lots of people that want to work there now. So things are going quite well. One of the latest things we've done, two latest things we've done in the county is number one, there are something like 17 different call structures for all the different fire departments, all the different police departments, which make it really hard to know okay, which department is this? What's their call structure? We're trying to homogenize those, bring them together so that the function of the 911 call center runs more smoothly. So we've been doing that. We've also appointed, I think I mentioned this here before, a county fire and EMS coordinator who's working to bring the fire departments together so that they work more jointly with each other, so we can save costs, save money, work on a bunch of things like that. So that's number one. Number two, and I probably should have started this, like to congratulate the people new on the board or up on the board. Chris and Bobby, congratulations on your victories. That's a nice thing. I'd also like to congratulate Chief Weaver for his promotion to chief. Good to have solid hands in the department. And the last thing I want to talk about is a little bit more controversial because I have a perspective on the town manager situation that maybe some people don't realize. I was one of the people that hired Audra Kaler, and we went through the interviews, and she was head and tails above the other people that we talked about at the time. And I found over the years that she's works really well with the board, with direction. She always said to us, tell me what you want me to do, and I will get it done. And she was really good at that. One of the things that was really controversial even before I joined the board, we used to have somebody in town that's job was to get grants for money. And I used to look at the grant situation and see that Rockland got a lot of grants and Belfast got a lot of grants and Camden got none. Even the person that was hired to do it got nothing. And once Audra came in, that changed tremendously. There's been a tremendous amount of money brought into this town under her leadership, which has been great. The other thing that I thought she had a tremendous impact on is that the directors for all the town departments have mostly changed, and it's a much more well-managed, well-directed town than it was previously. When I first joined the board, there was a lot of problems in different departments, and things have come along a long way. One of the great employees that came in was Jody, who is our acting town manager right now. Did an incredible job of straightening out the financial stuff for the town. Audra and I disagreed from time to time. Often, I don't believe in the parking situation, the paid parking. We had disagreements about that, but she always worked for the select board. The one thing I noticed is I spent 3 years on the budget committee, and the budget committee mandate to her was save money, save money, save money. And so I think two of the things that she's worked on, and that's been that way for years as we try to, go through tough times. She worked really hard bringing in the parking as a way to bring in more funds to the town. And I think that was part of her thought about the police department. And the one thing I noticed in the budget committee this year, as soon as the town let her know that we wanted our police department, she changed the direction immediately. She didn't try to argue, discuss it. And she said, okay, absolutely, let's get it done. Let's save it. And she went that, and people need to understand that. One of the things I've done is I've looked at, I've done interviews. We just hired in the last year and a half a new county administrator, which is basically the same job that you go through. And I can tell you there are a lot of jobs out there looking for people to run towns, run cities. We interviewed a lot of people, and it's really difficult out there. It's hard to find. I think probably the top candidate out there looking that people are going to interview for jobs is our own town manager. And it would be a shame to give up her experience. She has more experience outside of the town, outside of everything, than I have seen in virtually anybody else that we've interviewed. I think it would be a mistake to make a change there. One of the things that used to be a joke that I've used with my son, who is now 20 years old. There's an old joke about when my son was 16, I was really not very bright. And by the time he got to 21, I'd learned a whole lot. And I think one of the things that I really miss is that this new board didn't give her a chance to work with them to see if they could find a direction. And the last thing I want to say, and I thought about it on and off about saying it, is when the Save the Dam situation came along, which was a real shame that it split the town in half. And I feel bad about that. It really changed the tone of the town. But the one thing I want to say about our town manager is she's committed to the downtown. She bought a house in town. She has 3 children in the school district here. And we used to think about people as people, not just employees or objects or something like that. And to ask somebody to uproot their life when they've been working so hard for this town, and it probably means moving to a school district that's nowhere near as strong as Camden Rockport is and 5 towns, I'm really hurt by that, that we don't think of people as people anymore. And I think it's important. So anyway, that's what I have to say.
Thank you,
Have a
Mark.
great meeting.
Anybody else? Sure. And I've got Ben online too. Thank you.
Jeff Scott, 21 Ames Terrace. It was well said, Mark. Really well said. A lot of good points. I want to add to that, it was not planned. We're not collaborating on this at all, but it turns out I just wanted to demonstrate my observation of more of Audra's performance as a town manager. Before I do that, I want to congratulate Chief Weaver for attaining the position. And I want to also thank our town manager, Audra, for the seamless transition. I want you to think back to earlier this year when Chief Gagne resigned. Audra came forward with an idea of how to save money. She's always looking at that. That was not well accepted by our community. The select board made a decision to say, no, we're going to keep the police force in town. We're going to hire another chief. Once that decision was made by the select board, as Mark alluded to, she completely went for it. And think back over the last 4 months, how smoothly that transition happened within the police department. A lot of credit goes to the police department, but Audra quickly assigned an interim chief. She set up a community search committee. She didn't go out and hire somebody to do that work. She didn't pay somebody. She initiated a search herself to get candidates in, and then the committee came forward with a candidate, and it went really, really smoothly. And I just wanted to underscore that there was no chaos involved once the decision was made, and I want to thank Audra for that. And I want to sort of remind people about that history. Thank you.
Thank you. Ben, you online, you've been waiting for a little bit.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're off mute. Good. Thanks.
Yes, and I'll keep it short. I really appreciate what Mark and Jeff just said. And I got here like 2 minutes late, but I think it should go in the record that since you last met, 2 former select board chairs very strongly endorsed Audra and stated that you made a great mistake by letting her go and hoped that you would reverse it, which now means that all 4 former select board chairs have spoken up strongly with the same general opinions, and as well as the former Rockport town manager, who is now a Camden citizen. I truly hope you're paying attention and considering a change. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Anybody else? Please.
Tony Grassi, 363 Belfast Road in Camden. I wanted to sort of formally ask that the select board put on its agenda a open public discussion of the status of the NIFWIF grant. I was thrilled to see the library reaching out to the community to get input on the design of Harbor Park and how it relates to the where the river is going to flow. But there's a whole lot else in the grant, and I think it would be really useful for the public to understand what's the process, who's controlling the funds, how the decision's being made, and how does it relate to the proposed MDOT tearing out the old bridge and putting in a new one. I think the community would really like to understand that. It seems to be a big black box. Nobody seems to want to talk about the sequencing. How many months are we going to be experiencing one-way traffic through Camden and so forth? And I just think, those two projects are right next to each other. They ought to be coordinated in some way. Probably works really well because you don't want the bridge work being done during the summer, and the summer is the time actually when you're going to have to do the dam work when the river is low. So it seems to me there are lots of opportunities there, and I just think it would be really important either that the select board have a conversation about that for the public to understand and hear, or I don't know what you've done with the McGonagall River Citizens Advisory Committee. It seems to be, I don't think they know what you've done with it. It seems to be sort of moribund, and maybe that's the vehicle in which there could be a public discussion if you don't want to have it be a select board agenda. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah, I predict that'll be something that'll be coming up, because of, what's going on with the library on August 11, that Tuesday night. That'll be informative in and of itself too. So thank you. Yes, please.
Good evening, everybody. Deb Chapman. I live on Washington Street. I'm just going to follow up on what Tony said. I came with one question in mind, and that is, where is the dam project? The project about the dam. My understanding is, being a member of that committee, I would not use that word any other way. My understanding is that the money for that project has arrived and that a technical gated protocol has been created, and also that the financial system was either completely set up or on the way to being set up to manage that money. And we on the committee have heard nothing. Gave it 2.5 years plus of our lives. Mm-hmm. And the town voted to make that project happen. So it would be wonderful to have you all tell us where the project is, and following Tony's suggestion, possibly have an opportunity to talk about that progress, because we're very worried about it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I mean,
Thank you.
we're not prepared to address that tonight, but thank you.
Well, if you were,
Yeah.
it would be on the agenda, and
Yeah,
I
that
couldn't
is
talk
correct.
about it.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment on non-agenda items? Looking online, I see none. So with that, let's move on to our item number 2, the badge pinning of new police officers, Nathan Andrick and Trevor Carty.
How's everybody doing tonight? Quickly after being appointed as chief, Lieutenant Gary and I spoke about bringing back and maintaining a tradition of badge pinning for new police officers. Not only does it create a milestone in each officer's career, it also gives a chance for the community to meet their new officers who often come on and work night shift and you don't see them that often. So without further ado, I'd like to call up Officer Trevor Carty. And Officer Nathan Andrick. Just stand up front. Face the crowd, buddy. Officer Trevor Carty joined the Camden Police Department in 2005 and is a lifelong resident of Owl's Head, a 2018 graduate of Oceanside High School. Officer Carty has a deep roots in the Mid-Coast community and is proud to serve the area he has always called home. Before beginning his career in law enforcement, Officer Carty served for 2 years as a corrections officer at the Knox County Jail, where he gained valuable experience in communication, conflict resolution, and maintaining a safe environment. His time in corrections helped build a strong foundation for his transition into policing. Officer Carty will be attending the 50th Basic Law Enforcement Training Program at the Maine Criminal Justice Academy next month, where he will complete the training required to become a certified law enforcement officer in the state of Maine. He has a particular interest in traffic safety, traffic enforcement, and OUI enforcement, and is committed to keeping Camden's roads and community safe. Outside of his duties, Trevor enjoys traveling, following sports, and running. He enjoys spending time with his fiance and their 2 cats, Clifford and Ghost. Officer Carty is honored for the opportunity to serve the Camden community and looks forward to building positive relationships with residents while continuing to grow as a law enforcement professional. Nathan Andrick is a local of the Mid-Coast, raised in Warren, and a 2020 graduate of Madomic Valley High School. Nathan attended Husson University and holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. He looks forward to completing his bachelor's degree in psychology. Prior to being hired in Camden, Nathan has done extensive work at Eastern Maine Medical Center, communicating with people experiencing a variety of adversities. Through his work experience and role models, Nathan developed an interest in public service. He is excited to be a community contributor in Camden and continue to learn names and faces in town. In his free time, Nathan enjoys hiking, stream fishing for brook trout, and most importantly, spending time with his family. At this time, if Trevor's fiance, Yetta Bikjaku, could come up to pin his badge on. And if Nathan's love of his life, as he worded it, Mackenzie Emerson, can come up to pin his badge on. Also, as many of you know, law enforcement is a small community, and law enforcement in Maine is an even smaller community. Not only do I have the pleasure of pinning both their badges on as being the brand new police chief, Nathan is the son of Kurt Andrick, who I had the pleasure of serving 19 years with on the Camden Police Department. So life comes full circle. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Our next agenda item is approval of the minutes from the special meeting on July 7, the regular meeting on July 7, the special meeting on July 9, and the special meeting on July 13. Do we have any questions or a motion to approve these minutes as written?
I'll make a motion to approve all 4 sets.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed?
And if it feels like we spent the month of July in this room,
Right.
that's kind of,
And it's still July.
And it's still July.
We're still
That's
here.
right.
Not over yet.
That's okay. The next item is the consent agenda, which is 2 items. Confirmation of the name added to the Village Green Honor Roll of Zach Herrick, and acceptance of a donation from Atlantic Engine Company nozzles to the Camden Fire Department. If there's no need for a discussion or vote, as we know, but any questions? Seeing none, the consent agenda is therefore approved. Next up is the town manager's report, and this is because the last meeting that we had went a little long, and the department managers had submitted some pieces of information, help put together the report. So, Jody, if you wanted to go over the highlights or on that report or read it.
I will read that.
Okay.
There's a lot of news, so you'll get sick of my voice, I'm sure. So on the fire department, on June 24th, a crew of 5 Camden firefighters and Engine 5 were stationed at the Searsmont department from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. to provide fire and EMS coverage during the funeral service of Searsmont Assistant Fire Chief Wayne Woodbury. Crews from Camden, Thomaston, Union worked collaboratively to provide the service so that Searsmont Fire and EMS personnel could attend his services in Belfast. Recently, several members of the fire department have completed educational programs and successfully participated in corresponding skills and knowledge evaluations. Jacob Wilder and Noah Carlson, are they here? No. Both are now advanced EMTs and now licensed by Maine EMS at this higher patient care level. Noah Carlson and Andrew Scrivenich are continuing with their paramedic education, which will conclude towards the end of the year. Katie Christensen, Nadir Fakak, and Brandon Graffam completed the firefighter 1 and 2 training, and they participated in the recently concluded Knox County Fire Training Academy program. In the Opera House, it was that time of year again. Now I'm reading this now that it has happened. If I had read it 2 weeks ago, it hadn't had happened. So I'm going to try and do past tense. As 2 theater major grads in a red truck arrived July 6th from Missoula, Montana to lead the Camden Opera House Theater Week. The Missoula Children's Theater have a great program during which they take a group of kids ages 6 to 18 and over the course of a week teach them a play and songs, which is then performed at the end of the week. Auditions and casting kicked off Monday, July 6th, and culminated with a performance on Saturday, July 11th at 3. 58 kids signed up, and we purposefully priced this experience at $150 per kid for the week and $100 for an additional sibling, so that it's available for anyone who wants to participate. And this year's play was The Emperor's New Clothes. Planning and development. Jeremy, we've got a lot of stuff here. Okay. I know, that's why I didn't ask you for any more.
You can be more brief than
Well, this is the brief. This is the boiled down part. So Tannery Park, a request has been submitted by the Planning and Development to the state through its Climate Resilience Partnership, which provides no-cost technical assistance to joining communities. The request is for nature-based engineering services to support efforts to green the Tannery Park by engineering cover systems over the existing concrete slabs and a nature-based design to stabilize a portion of the riverbank. It's eroding and littered with solid waste from the site's industrial past. These improvements will prevent structural damage to the site's environmental caps caused by extreme storms and inland flooding, while also improving stormwater water quality by covering more than 25,000 square feet of concrete slabs on grade. This will expand the public green space and further build out a multi-use community space that blends natural climate solutions like shade trees and flood-absorbing vegetation with community recreation. Curtis Island, the Planning and Development Department will begin working on a grant application seeking funding from the Maine Historic Preservation Commission's Historic Community Building Grant Program to assist in the restoration and preservation of the Curtis Island Light Tower. This aims to build on the assessment and preservation plan that was prepared by the Historic Building Architects. The Historic Building Grant Program is funded by a $10 million bond that Maine voters approved in November of '24. Short-term rentals. In the second year of short-term rental licensing, department staff have identified 166 short-term rentals operating in Camden. Of those, 154 have been licensed, including 88 commercial, 54 residential, and 12 seasonal short-term rentals. There are still 12 short-term rentals that are presently operating without the required license, and we're working to gain compliance through formal violation notices. Permitting in the Planning and Development Office, we have, since May, have issued 118 permits, which includes building permits, short-term rentals, certificates of occupancy. Let's see. The Zoning Board of Appeals, working with consulting engineers on a number of projects that will need to go to the Planning Board, Zoning Board of Appeals in the weeks and months ahead, including but not limited to a 7-unit residential subdivision at the corner of Camden and Elm Streets on the vacant lot across from Hannaford, as well as a proposed 8-unit multifamily residential development across from Rennie's at 88 Elm Street. The department continues to handle traffic calming concerns and requests. Traffic calming is a multi-departmental effort with the Planning and Development Department taking the lead and assisted by the Public Works Director and Chief Alan Weaver. Chief Weaver recently completed a speed study on Rawson Avenue, Ames Terrace, and Gould Street, and as a result, the police officers will step up speed enforcement in these areas. And finally, Public Works. The 4 flashing crosswalk signs on Washington Street, Route 105, have been installed and are now operational at the intersections of Trim, Cross, Spring, and Gould Streets. We are 1/3 done with the stormwater line work on Park Street. Vortex is back in town on Belmont Avenue doing some pipelining, which is off of Whitmore Avenue and Brookside Street. They're targeting the I&I that goes into the sewer system. Work to completely renovate the former chamber building is almost complete. And a Public Works crew helped Tom Jackson's crew to finish up the library's green roof repair. We were able to get that done ahead of the library's busy 4th of July events. We're pleased to report that rain from 2 weeks ago, now 4 weeks ago, proved that the roof is no longer leaking water into the library director's office, among other areas.
Thank you.
All I got for that.
Kind of.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions on the manager report or anything? No. Very good. So then we'll move to our first discussion item, which is an update from Michael Scaling on the Curtis Island project.
Well, hello all. So I wanted to do an update tonight on where we stand with Curtis Island and kind of give you an idea of what the foundation is doing. So my name is Michael Scaling. I live in Camden, and I've been here for quite a few years, a lot of years. So I'm going to read a couple of sections here before I go over some slides. And can you put the slides up now?
They're part of the packet.
Yep. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yep. So I'm going to give an update, and Jeff Nathan, who I've been working closely with, is going to come forward toward the end of my talk to talk about some of our next steps. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to provide an update on the Curtis Island Light Station and the work of the Curtis Island Lighthouse Foundation. We appreciate the opportunity to share where the foundation is today, where we hope to go, and how we can work together to get it done. Curtis Island, let's see. To move the slide to the next one, I'm sorry.
Yes, if you just scroll down.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Just do 2 fingers down. Like
Okay. Yep.
Use 2 fingers.
Okay. Sorry. Why Curtis Island matters. You know, Curtis Island was, the first light station came in 1835, and in 1896, it was completely rebuilt. And what you see today are the structures that were on the island at that time that were built in 1896. And what we're focused on is, this is an important piece, an important matter for the town. It's more than a lighthouse. It represents our maritime heritage, our history, our identity as a coastal community. It is one of Camden's recognized landmarks and one of the first images that people visiting, coming into the harbor or going out on a sail or a boat see. The light station belongs to the people of Camden, and together we have both the opportunity and responsibility to preserve it. So the current conditions, I want to give you just a quick idea. The island has not been occupied for a few years now, and the conditions of each building are, they're getting to be in rough shape, and you probably have all heard that from other people. And in 2024, we did a report with historic building architects, and that's what Jeremy was mentioned in Jeremy's report. So we did this report, which outlined in great detail what the condition of each of the structures was. And one of their major findings was these buildings are like any structure. If they're not cared for, they're going to continue to degrade, and the cost of the restoration increases and increases year after year. So I'm just going to hit a couple of the current conditions here. So on the light tower, you see the face of it. This would be if you were out in the ocean looking at it, looking sort of toward town at the light tower on the left. That is an example of the lintel over the window, kind of cracks in the brick. The island, the light tower is composed of two layers of brick with an airspace in between. And so over the years, you know, cracks have evolved, they've been taken care of, and now it really is in need of major restoration on that. And we'll speak more to that as I move on. The picture on the right is the roof. It's a metal roof, and that drastically needs repair. So, and again, I'll talk to this in a moment. So if we look now at the lightkeeper's house, there's been storm damage. There are some shingles missing. You can see them up on the top. That section of the roof has been repaired multiple times. I went out the other day, and there are still there were a couple more shingles off. It needs attention. It needs to be, you know, basically preserved. So all of the roof structure on that, you can see the gutters are down, the fascia boards. There just needs to be kind of full-blown restoration. And again, I'll talk in a moment about our plans for that. This is the barn. The sills on the barn are going. You can see the basement wall on the outside on the right. Those blocks have kicked out. So there's kind of major restoration there. The upper part of the barn is all fine. So if over time it'll need to be lifted, new sills put in, and new foundation base formed and settled back down. And this is the oil house, and the oil shed, it's where they put the generators, where they kept oil, kerosene. Over time, it was separated from the main structure. The paint has peeled. The brick probably shouldn't even be painted because the paint seals in moisture. So that's a piece that needs to be redone as well. And we see that as down the road a bit. Okay. And here is what we're here to talk about tonight. So the current conditions on the landing, the access has been a major source of what we've been working on and trying to get resources for. So we received a $25,000 grant from the Maine Lighthouse Foundation a couple of years ago. I've asked for extensions as we've been trying to come up with a design that will work, and Jeff's going to address this in a moment, but we think we've got some good starting points to move forward. The stairs on the left are where the conovers and where the light keepers, that was their access. The picture on the right is where the public goes up. And that's the focus of what we're going to talk about in terms of what needs to be done there. Before I get into more detail, I just want to say a few things about the foundation. You know, we formed in 2023 as a 501c3. We have all the paperwork and we're all registered and we're a nonprofit organization. And we've been raising funds since then. In 2024, we put together the preservation plan, and that was a joint effort with the town. The town put in half the money, we put in half the money, foundation, and that's sort of what we see as the Bible of where this needs to go. We did a community visioning report where we had community members come in and talk about what's their vision, what do they see as the future of the light station, what would they like to see? And all of these are available on our website. 2025, we began some engineering through Senders Engineering and through Bill Glover at Rockport Steel, and we've come up with some plans, and that's where our focus is. Where do we go with the plans? How do they need to be adjusted, and what do we need to do to really get this to work? It says 2025 community fundraising. We've actually been raising money since the day we started. We have quite a bit in the bank now. Our costs as a foundation are very low. And we've been receiving grant awards. We're going to be moving forward. One kind of a nice story is we found the fog bell that used to be on the island. We've had it returned, and we're working with the Coast Guard and to come up with a historic structure to reestablish it on the island when we're ready. And the foundation is covering all of that. So our goals, 2026, 2027, if we can complete the access, that's going to make it so much easier for individuals, for community members, for contractors to get onto the island. So that's what Jeff is going to speak to in just a moment here. We have, it was mentioned in your report, Jeremy is going after a grant from Maine Historic Preservation Commission that will, it's up to $500,000 that the town can get, plus the match that we would give as a foundation, and that match would be about $175,000 on top of that. So we've got, we think, a good head start on that if we can get the grant, and all of that would be starting next spring. And one final thing is the foundation is working on raising funds for the Lightkeeper's House. And we haven't gone to the town for that. I have one grant in place already for $25,000 from the Maine Lighthouse Preservation, Maine Lighthouse Trust. And we're raising money for that as a foundation. And what we would like to do is get the money, raise the money, then put it out to bid and go through all the processes that need to go through to get it done. But if we can raise that money this year, both of these projects could be moving full steam ahead next summer, and we'd have the benefit of getting, joint planning and getting stuff on and off the island. So let me see. Sorry, I'm not used to this. There we go. Okay, so looking ahead, this is what I've just said. Safe island access, restore the light tower, preserve the keeper's house, the town, and the final one I haven't talked about is the partnership between the town and the foundation. We need a strong partnership. Anything that the town can do to help the foundation be successful, so the foundation can be successful for the town. And there's a lot of good energy, and there's a lot of people who want to help. And so we want to move forward with really making that relationship just as strong as it can be and moving forward with the other thing. Jeff, come on. So Jeff Nathan and Jeff and the foundation have been doing a lot of talking, and he's been so helpful.
Thank you, Michael. Good evening, Jeff Nathan, Camden Parks and Recreation Director. First of all, big thank you to Michael and the rest of the Curtis Island Lighthouse Foundation. They've been excellent partners to work with, and meeting with them with some regularity, particularly Michael, I can tell you, I really appreciate, hopefully the town appreciates their commitment to this amazing site that we have out there that is such a, an iconic feature of the town. My role in all of this today is really hopefully to get a non-objection. I know I can't ask for an approval, but maybe perhaps a non-objection from the select board to proceed with the process of developing a memo of understanding with the foundation and really in conjunction in a partnership to develop the access to the island. And when I say develop, I mean there's existing access now, but really to improve the access that's there. There's a couple of proposals on the table. Michael mentioned one that is significantly more substantial that was developed by a local engineer. Those plans are an excellent conceptual plan for us to say, here's one option. It's certainly not the only option that's out there, but the bottom line is from a Parks and Recreation perspective, very interested in moving forward, proceeding with an MOU to be drafted, by the town in conjunction with the foundation to enter into engage in a partnership to enter in the process of building, restoring the stairs that are there and improving the access to the island. To be clear on how the process works, and I know you're all familiar with this, but perhaps more for the public. It's a town project on town property. It will be managed by the town. There will be a formal request for proposal, should we get to that point, to identify the contractor to do the work. That work will be overseen by the town. The responsibility, besides all of the great input we'll continue to get from the foundation, but it'll really be the responsibility of the foundation to fund that project. So what that means, the bottom line is what Michael's proposing and what I am endorsing here and asking for your non-objection of is to proceed with a plan to improve access to the island through a new stair system going up to the island, to not be paid for by taxpayer money, to be funded by the foundation and managed by the town as any other project would on town property. So I'm happy to take any questions you may have about that.
Yeah, I have a quick question. When you say access, you're saying access and saying stairs. What about floats? I mean, is that the limit of what you mean by access? Are you planning floats and dockage and public access and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. At this point, what we're specifically talking about is the stairs, the stair access, and not floats or anything else. No docks, no floats.
Can you talk a little bit about why keeping it small is what you see as the near-term foreseeable future? Keeping it small, i.e. no floats and whatnot,
Yeah, I
what are the
think
concerns on one side?
I think Michael did an excellent job of really at a very high level talking about all of the restorative needs that exist out on the island. I think that we really need to look at this one piece at a time. And the stair access, well, the stairs are there. And, if anybody has been out to the island, they're not amazing stairs to walk up. They're sturdy, but I wouldn't necessarily call them user-friendly. And so many people access the island via kayaks today or by small craft. I think step one in this process is that access. I think if we were to bring in floats or bring in dock, that is an entirely another project. And permitting and just the assessment involved in that would certainly increase the time span at the very least for this project. This one, there are stairs that exist there today. Depending on the type of stairs that go in, are permitting, and I don't want to speak for Jeremy, but the permitting we would need, if we keep with a similar design to what's there, would be very limited and very, say the guy who's not going to write the permit, easy for us to obtain. I think this is a speed to market play more than anything else. This is something we can likely do relatively quickly.
Just along those lines, I know, Michael, we've talked a little bit about this in the past, but do you have a sense as you are increasing access, what is the capacity for public access on the island, given the nature of the buildings and trails and?
Yeah. That's always been a concern. It's a concern in the vision statement is how do you balance the too much traffic and so by not having big floats and docks, that's going to keep big boats out. And I think it'll be a matter of policy and, what we all decide between Parks and Recreation and the town, how many visitors. And I think there are some numbers, I don't know, 50 on the island at one time, which is a lot, and maybe it's 30. But I think that's all part of what I want to see in our discussion, I want to talk at a principle level. We'll have these agreements, but in general, what are the things we want to achieve? And what are we shooting for? So we don't have the answers right now on some of those, but we've taken a pretty conservative approach from some of our original thinking, which was to line up a lot of floats and have a lot of dockage area. So we're trying, but it is a key piece that we need to constantly think of, and there's no final answer.
Can I make a comment on the public access and the need for the stairs too? The grant that I'm trying to get, which is due in October, I had applied for that previously, the same grant, did not get it. Got some comments back from the state. One of the issues, this is a community building grant project, so there has to be public access to the property. That was where one of their sticking points the last time. So I think I'm hopeful that this partnership and getting these stair set in there would just add to the likelihood of obtaining that grant moving forward.
Just to build on that, what we would have in the grant would be 12, I think it's 10 or 12 days a year that we would have an absolute program to get people over to the island and help people without boats or kayaks to get onto the island. And these stairs are, again, a core piece of safety. Yeah.
And we're talking almost $700,000 in funding to make that work. So I think the stair set and working with an MOU to get this rolling would be really good. I envision another MOU after this to focus on the light tower. and the grant. So that's just coming later.
Any other questions or comments?
No, I look forward to seeing or working with you on the MOU, and it sounds like a limited and necessary step forward, so it sounds good.
I think we want to try to get the MOU back to you within the month or so is our hope.
Great.
So we have your blessing to move this forward.
As much as we can do as a discussion item.
Okay.
Is there
So
anything,
smiles
anything
or-
as a town manager you can do to, given it's as it is?
I'll just support Jeremy and Mike and Jeff, however they need it,
Super.
with my powerful
We'll
signature.
work with the foundation over the next few weeks and get it back to you guys in a month or so.
Yeah, that would be great. The, probably the best meeting for that would be the, August 18 meeting. Is that soon
That's
enough?
kind of, I think, when we met earlier today, I suggested the 6th, but I think I was pushed back to the 18th by Jeff.
Okay.
You and
There are a
Jeff
couple
on the
other
same
things
page.
going on.
Okay. Yep. Anita, yes, you have a question? Please.
Thank you. Anita Brosia Scott, 21 Ames Terrace. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Scaling and the entire foundation for all that hard work. Fundraising is not fun and it's hard. And they've done a terrific job. Thank you to Jeff as well. I have a couple of questions. Some are minor and some is a little more exploratory regarding the lighthouse work. I've always loved going out there. It's wonderful. It's such a it's a real treasure for the town, and really appreciate the efforts in keeping it going. One question relates to what investment is foreseen in terms of the town's money to go into the extensive work that you've pointed out for the house and all the other things that have to be done. And I don't imagine you have an answer for that yet.
You know, we need a strong partnership. The foundation is trying to help the town, and we don't have a bottom line, but we're not asking for much. You know, I think anything that can be done in kind and the services that we're getting, you know, the foundation, I think, is set to, let's go out and raise the money to get this done and help the town. And so I can't speak to the future, but I don't see us asking for $2 million to come out of taxpayers. Yeah.
I just wanted to remind the town that in the past, the town, that's way before me, has had a rather creative solution to taking care of the lighthouse, granted not at the level that it needs, because it's an old building and there's always a lot of work to be done on it, but to have the Conover family worked out a deal with the town and said, we'll live out there and we'll take care of it. And they would go out in the summer and then to go back to their house on C Street in the winter. And that went on for decades. And I always thought it was an incredibly creative solution of the town to work that out with the Conovers, and brilliant of the Conovers to even think to ask for it. So that's awesome. But what that brings to mind is living on that island is an incredible treat. It's an amazing opportunity. And I would like to challenge the foundation and the town to think that there might be a creative solution here, not unrelated to the Conover solution. And that would be to go out and look for the kind of expertise you truly need in order to repair these things, and look beyond the town, beyond beyond Maine. There are so many people out in this country that are really good at what they do in restoration. There might be somebody out there, maybe who has only just retired from their professional work, who would give anything to live on that island and in exchange for work or reduction, because we're looking at $50 an hour, easy, for all of this work, at least $50 an hour. Think of the people who would love to live on that island and do that work, and it would be a joy. And I really think, I mean, we're used to this living here. It's our town, but it's a treasure. It's a jewel. And there are people out there in Idaho, wherever, I don't know, that would give anything to be able to have that opportunity. And I encourage you to think creatively in terms of looking for that possibility. So that's one comment. Another is much smaller, about the stairs. The stairs that we have used to get up there have a little rail on either side of the steps that was specifically put there so something like a wagon or there was I don't know if I ever actually saw it, but I know there was like a wheelbarrow, but not, that could ride those rails on either side of the steps up, and that's how things were hauled up from the water. And it occurred to me that perhaps there could be a Curtis Island dedicated wheelchair that could fit with the rail. You will hopefully put rails back, whatever stairs are put there would have a similar system for rolling something up that slope. And you could come up with a dedicated wheelchair, and that way it could be handicap accessible. Oh my gosh. We wouldn't have to go to a lot of effort, but I'm just thinking there's some creative solutions to some of these things that we want to do. It might not cost so much money. I think that's all.
Thank you. Ben, do you have a quick comment?
Yes, thank you. Curtis Island was one of my first discoveries of Camden treasures when I arrived here in 1971. When a lighthouse keeper was still living there, and there were tracks for his boat then. And then I've been there many times, and thankfully with my granddaughters. And we dealt with it a lot during the 20 years, plus or minus, I served on the harbor committee, often giving the Conover families some budget, some town budget for raw materials, shingles, paint, things like that. I'm also, for me, I gave a significant donation to the foundation. I fully support the foundation. And I'm very happy to see you doing the same. Thank you. And toward the future, I advocate for limited public access, which would be small boats, easier to tie up, but not big boats. And I think we missed a thank you to Jeff Senders, who pro bono designed the set of stairs. And finally, the Harbor Committee once did offer anyone who wanted to rides out to Curtis Island. And it was really kind of amazing. People who lived here all their lives had never been there. However, it was a very windy day. We had small boats and nobody got hurt, but it was a memorable experience. Michael, be careful when you do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Two more comments. Yes.
Very brief. 53 years ago on Curtis Island, a granite marker, approximately 3.5 by 2 feet, was placed standing upright to the right of the wide pathway leading to the Curtis Island Lighthouse Station. It would be at the top of those right-hand stairs, and it's still there. The inscription on the marker reads as follows, all in caps: Curtis Island, acquired from the federal government to be used by the general public as a recreational area. Camden, Maine, September 15th, 1973. Acquired is the key word. From a legal perspective, it implies ownership and obligation. From a philosophical perspective, it implies responsibility. As townspeople, we sincerely trust and believe in your being respectful in your obligation toward Curtis Island. Thank you. And I see that in all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you just identify yourself for the record?
I'm sorry. Jennifer Healy.
Thank you,
Mountain
Jennifer.
Officer.
Yes, please.
Stephen Gold, Grove Street. First of all, I'd like to say, both as an individual and a member of the Harbor Committee, that we've been in full support of the foundation and this program from its get-go. I understand the periodic time thing that we've been talking about, but I would like to keep in mind that at this stage, they're talking about access, is talking about, I think, still two kinds of access. One access is for equipment to do all this anticipated work. And the second access is the stairway to get from the beach up to the at least 20-foot higher island. My concern, just in the long run, is actual access to the island. Because right now, it's not meant to be prejudicial, but it's only a really select group that can visit the island, mostly kayakers. The small boat access is both dangerous and tricky. You know, there's a tidal situation, there's enormous amounts of growth approaching the beach. You invariably are getting tangled up, whether you're rowing or in a power boat. And I'm not advocating for a dock system that would enable larger boats, tour boats, the thing everybody's afraid of for the island, but maybe a seasonal system of floats that just makes it a little easier to get on the island by small boat. Keeping in mind that even, you know, the ground there is very rocky in the water. So wherever you get out of your boat, it's hard to get out onto the island. And we're all aware of the fact that we're an aging community. And, you know, this is a town park, and we talk about recreation. So I think we should be cognizant of giving everybody access to that facility. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for presenting and giving us the update, and we look forward to hearing more.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next discussion item, which is consideration of a new license agreement for a portion of town property on the public landing.
Thank you. I'm just going to hand out, I was on vacation last week. I didn't know this was going to be on the agenda, or I would have had it to you before. You did get.
I think we have some of this, no?
Well, you have the survey, and there's, you have the survey that was provided by Gartland and Gorski did for the owner of the building and for the owner of the shop there, Mitchell's Contemporary, I think it is. On that survey that you have, you'll see a red brick patio adjacent, and I see Stewart's here. That's an agreement that is a revocable license that's in place currently for the restaurant that is down below Stewart's building there that Le Cave was at. They have a revocable license currently with the town. And I took some photos today. Those are pictures today. So earlier this summer, the owner, Tim Mitchell, without any approvals or authorization or allowance from the town, went down and outside of his shop, put some river cobblestone and some bricks and some sculptures down on town property without the right to do that. It is what it is. It's there currently. And so this is just I'm trying to get again, similar to what Jeff just asked for, is do you guys want to move forward? Are you comfortable moving forward with bringing back a revocable license for this shop and the owner at 5, I think it's 5 Public Landing, I think the address is, to maintain this rock and brick and sculptures in that location? I would say that Public Works, plows the area. And I know Dave, I met down there with Dave, and I know he's got some concerns on how he's going to handle it. I think it's doable, but it's just, I didn't want to bring you a revocable license without talking about it or bringing it up to your attention first. So that's what this is about. Survey was done. They did obtain insurance to indemnify the town of if anything happens in that area. They currently have that in place. I was adamant about making sure they got that in place. They have that in place, and they're willing to work with us. But I just wanted to get your okay to move forward with a revocable license, similar to what Le Cave has, or Stewart and the former Le Cave has at adjacent to it. That's right adjacent to it. You'll see on the survey, the blue line is town property. The other area is owned by 5 Public Landing. The area that they're looking to, the proposed license area would be 474 square feet. Look, the one for Stewart's property, I think, if I recall correctly, is 368 square feet of area, patio area. They're not looking to put any seats out there. He's just looking to have that Riverstone cobble that he put down there and the sculptures in the location. That's what he's looking for.
I happened to walk through there the other day.
I will say there were a couple of parking spaces there too, at least 2 that are now gone.
Right, and they were town parking spaces,
Well,
I guess, or did we lease them to them?
They were, if you look at the survey, it looks like 3/4 of one space was on town property, 1/4 of the space was on their property, and the other one, parking spaces are generally 9 feet wide, 18 feet long. So if you're looking at the building, to the right side where it slopes up to where the OLAD shop is, right? I think there's 2 spaces that were adequate parking spaces, and you could probably get a small car to the left or 2 small cars to the left of his entrance, but that's it.
Now, the other thing, maybe it was his idea, is it kind of maybe was a bit in line with Le Cave's little patio, if you drew a line in a way.
Yeah, hard to say.
But the bricks do you have any concern with how loose those exterior bricks are? They're not a contiguous, put together.
No, you're right.
They're kind of loose. Are there concerns about that?
I think the concerns is that if someone trips and falls on something like that, making sure the town's protected so we're not impacted by a potential lawsuit from someone that may slip and fall or trip there. Public Works has concerns about how they're going to manage that area in the winter when the snow's there, and they have to plow. I think talking to the shop owner, Tim and Dave, I think there's a way to make with the guys out in the trucks know where they need to plow and where they can't plow. But it is, if we damage something or we plow into the brick that's loose and the cobble that's loose, we're not going to fix it. We're not going to pay for it. It's just is what it is.
Go for it.
I'm reading through this.
And you have a sample, you have an example, you have Le Cave's in there. We included that in there because we wanted to show you what an example was. If that's where you're going, Susan, I
So
don't know.
the agreement that I'm looking at here is with Le Cave,
Le
not
Cave and
with.
Stewart.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
sample.
So, okay, my question had to do with if this particular business suspends operations, to have in the agreement their restoration of the
Sure.
site to
That
its
would definitely be
original
in there.
condition. having it, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And I
That-
mean,
yeah.
like Le Cav's no longer there and there's a new restaurant going in. And I mean, I
Is
think
it? Is
technically.
it? I know, it doesn't
That's what we
look
think
like
in our-
it
in my
is.
office, we think
I've
they're
been
not there.
looking for it, but I haven't seen it.
But if Le Cav's not there and the new restaurant, I think we need to do another one with the new restaurant and Stewart, because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way the last one was, I don't think they can be assigned to any other
It's the
entity.
business, not the property.
Right, right.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, there's some concerns about the materials and that, and I would want to know that, like that crushed rock getting into the parking lot. And
It says
being
crushed rock. It's not crushed rock.
a
It's more
pebble, but still,
like a
if
cobble, river
if
cobble.
somebody parks on it, if like it's sort of an it's not a particularly permanent looking
not.
structure. It wouldn't take a lot for half of that to end up in the parking lot. And I know there's something also that I have when someone, you know, they acted and then are acting for forgiveness. It's a little frustrating to sort of.
Yeah, I
have
mean,
that.
in my world, we deal with that a
I
lot,
know.
and I understand. I appreciate that, but you know, we try to work through that and move on.
When we had taken a position against these revocable licenses and gone to a permit process, as I recall, for any number of reasons, but this,
We do the temporary license, we do the temporary permits for things that are temporary, like using for if someone needs to put up a ladder or scaffolding, things like that. But when someone is doing something more permanent or they're putting infrastructure in the ground, we do revocable licenses. Like we do those when you've seen them before. I think you've been on the board where someone's trying to put utilities in and they got to do an underground. And so there's a a revocable license part of that process. So they're kind of different. This one's a little different because it's really not permanent, infrastructure, but
But what you're looking for now is just a nod to continue
Yeah.
negotiating.
if you are okay with doing a revocable, otherwise I have to reach out to them and say, hey, we're not going to do this and you got to move that material out of there, which I don't have a problem. It's up to you. And I can bring back a license with them, that they've reviewed at the next meeting. If you'd want that. I mean, you're going to have to approve it eventually if you want it. That's what this is about.
I'm not an engineer, but I am concerned about the materials they used on that edge, to Dave's point too, about plowing. It would have been, if they're going to do something, it would have been nice to have something sturdier that isn't A, going to be a tripping agent, or B, going to get disrupted by the plow and cause a bigger mess. But I don't know if we can do anything about that at this point.
I mean, it's the material. Plow is going to move that stuff that's there. If
Yeah.
it's sticking up, a plow is going to damage it, potentially damage our plow. I think we can work around the plowing. We've had a lot of significant rainstorms since he put this in, and we haven't seen material leave. I know when he was bringing the rock in, I made sure he washed the rock when he was there. So I said, you got to put some material down so that the sediment doesn't get into the catch basin. And he's cooperative and wants to do what's right. I don't know what to do other than bring this to you folks for a nod. And it doesn't mean you're going to approve the license agreement if we bring it forward the next time. I could tell him that, I'm not really sure where the select board's going to go on this, but they're willing to move forward with it at this point.
sounds like a field trip.
Wow.
I'm not clear. Sorry, I'm not clear on how many parking spots he really took. I know you said there was like a quarter of one. I'm just trying to see.
I included a picture, I think. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So in the picture, if you look at the photo,
Yep.
that's an aerial with the ocean is obviously towards the parking lot, right?
Right.
So if you're looking at where the number 3 is on the photo,
Yep.
that would be your first parking space.
Okay.
There is a big slope that falls off from OLAD to this spot.
Right.
So that's, I think, pretty much where that triangle comes into where that 3 is. You see that? The orange lines? So that space and the other space are the 2 spaces. And so if you're looking at that survey, that orange line also represents on the picture kind of generally where the property line is. So that's when I said like half of one parking space is on town property, the other half was on theirs. The other space, I guess, looking at this photo, I said 3/4. 1/4, it's probably more like 7/8 and 1/8.
I'm
1/8
just shocked
on
that
ours.
anyone down there would want to lose any parking.
I understood.
Yeah.
Understood. And maybe, I don't think these spaces were ever part of the paid parking down there, because these were spaces that were partially owned by them and partially owned by us. So I think they've been out of that mix, but I agree with you on parking down there. Parking is parking. It's however you want to handle it.
Well, I do it since Stu is here. I'll take advantage of that. He's right next door.
Sorry,
And, he's right next door. He's the abutter to this, if I have it right.
Mm-hmm. He is.
Is there any concern, or is it opportunistic? Oh, gee, look what they can do.
I don't think they knew that this was on what the Cov has on the brick patio out there. They didn't know that was town property. This guy didn't know. He didn't know where town property was. He just went and kind of did it. And then I walked down with a survey and showed him.
Yeah. Well,
I can let the gentleman know that the select board is
see?
willing to entertain it. I'm not promising anything.
yeah, I just
Kind of like it to me. It's kind of like how it's just we start giving away pieces of public town land. It just starts chipping away. That
I mean, the one thing is it's any of this cobble and rock is not permanent. Like it can be scooped up in a day.
Right.
With no damage to the pavement. He didn't take out the pavement below. It's all just sitting on the pavement.
Yeah.
So why don't I work with him to try to draft something? And if you guys are interested in moving it forward, then you do. And if you don't,
Is he the owner of the building or the tenant?
both actually. So I reached out I met the tenant, worked with him, and I said, you really got to get the owner involved too. And the owner reached right out to me quicker than the tenant did actually. I mean, he wants to move this forward. So. Well, he wants to do whatever the town wants him to do.
Okay. Good.
Sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
As good as we can do.
I know. I appreciate it. I just don't like bringing things to you at the last, I need you to discuss this and approve this today or not without any background and without any.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. We will move on then to the action items, and we will we'll put in here the one that we had mentioned earlier.
So should we start with that?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to, that's what I'm trying to say. The one we look forward to approving, which is the reappointment of Audra Kaler as town manager through December 31, 2026, pursuant to Article 3, Section 3.01 of the town charter.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed?
No.
No. None opposed, so thank you. And then from there, we'll move on to item A, approval of non-renewal license agreement for Harbor Dogs on the public landing. Do we have anyone here representing Harbor Dogs? If you wouldn't mind giving us 2 minutes concerning Harbor Dogs on the public landing.
Yep. My name is Jason Doppelt, Rockport, Maine. I'm the owner of Harbor Dogs. I really enjoy being down there and serving the community, seeing all the regular faces and welcoming the tourists down to the harbor. And just the seasonal changes down there. One thing I did ask for in this new agreement is to be able to be open until the end of October, just because May has become the new October. So October is just so nice in the later in the season. It'd just be nice to be able to have the ability to stay open till then. So, any questions from you guys?
Any questions?
I would move to approve.
I'll second.
Very good.
Thank you, guys.
Any other discussion from the public? Nope. With that, seeing the motion has been made and seconded, motion to approve the renewal license agreement for Harbor Dogs on the public landing. All those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed?
Appreciate it. Thank you,
Great.
guys.
5-0. Thank you.
All for October.
The next item, and this is item B. Dave St. Laurent might be interested in this one. I mentioned that to take yourself off mute. This is the bid award for Public Works backhoe and Public Works plow truck. If you want to just describe that a little bit, that would be great, Dave. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll start with the plow truck. So this is a replacement of the 2002 GMC 8500. We tried to make this last as long as we could. We actually were going to use this for the construction season, but the bed is actually so rusted out that we're going to try and fix it, but there's just no fixing it. It's the same truck we use in the downtown for salt priority and doing all the snow and ice control. So it sees basically straight salt all winter long. Any truck doesn't really last all that long. So from 2002 until now, it's done pretty well. I was looking into purchasing a new one. As you can see, I put the bid out for a new and a slightly low mileage pre-owned one. A really nice one came in, a pre-owned one. And as you see in my memo, that's my recommendation. It's the exact truck we want and only has 3,300 miles on it. It's a 2023, but it looks like new. It's got a six-month warranty. That's pretty good on a used truck. Did a little research on it. It was something someone purchased several of them of, and it was too small. So they bought all newer, larger ones, and this was one of like 6 that they got rid of. So their loss are kind of gain in this situation. You can see it's a pretty big difference in price. And then, do you want me to go into the next piece of equipment, or do you want to talk more about the truck?
Bless you.
Real quick question, Dave. I didn't quite understand. Now there's the, there's additional, does the $85,000 truck need additional equipment to fit it out to make it a serviceable truck? And the other truck, 141, that also would have needed the roughly $44,000 of extra cost, correct?
They both would have needed the same amount of cost for outfitting.
Okay.
There is a slight, well, no, there's no difference between the two. They're the same truck.
Yeah.
It's a clutch type of hydraulic system. They're going to be putting all the levers and controls for the sander and the plow. We'll be putting a plow on it. We're going to use an existing sander that we have, but they're going to have to retrofit it and plumb it all up to the truck. And what happens is it gets placed in the bed. You take the tailgate off, and then it's ready for winter after you hook up the hydraulics.
Super.
Yeah. So this is the first time I buy a used truck. I try not to do that, but this just seemed too good of a deal to not take advantage of. The only thing it's white. I asked to paint it red. That was like $6,000. I said, okay, white's okay if that's what we end up with. I think the sticker on the side will do okay. That's pretty much it on that.
So it saves roughly $55,000 or so by doing that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. Yeah, it's a significant amount.
Yeah.
You look at it. I mean, I was pretty happy. I mean, it was one of those times when you find something good. It doesn't usually happen like that.
No. The next item, backhoe.
The next item is the backhoe.
I take it you couldn't find a used one of those.
Well, we haven't used one of those. I looked at having that repaired.
Yeah.
And after we had to do some hydraulic work, some valve body work, and then we would have also had to do some engine work on the turbo, and it's already pretty well used. It has almost 7,000 hours on it. And it's also another piece of equipment that we use not exclusively for loading salt, but that's its main function in the wintertime. So that isn't something you want to have broken. That can really set you back in the winter.
Yep.
And so one interesting thing I do have to say about that is We had only two bids. I was surprised. There's only really three people that make backhoes. Cat makes one also, but they didn't bid, surprisingly. United Construction Forestry is the less expensive of the two, but Beauregard Equipment, after talking with them and them seeing what the results of the RFP were willing to, if we did go with the Beauregard piece of equipment, they would match the United Construction Forestry equipment with a case equipment rebate. So basically, they'd be both at the price of $153 for 0.07.
Yep.
So I ran a pros and cons for the two pieces of equipment, and they were very, very close. The case is one we already have. It's the same basic backhoe, but it's a newer model. So there's no learning curve associated with that. But it's got a wider stance, which is safer when you're working and loading. It's not as posh or as the John Deere, but it's more robust. So a stronger piece of equipment. The John Deere has a little bit more horsepower, but the case is kind of beefier. And I would rather go with something I think that's going to be a little bit more resilient than a little bit more horsepower and a little bit more posh.
And this also is below the budgeted amount that you had projected. You had projected 166 in the budget. This is 153, whereas the other one was, again, I think about the same difference. So
correct. And so we're, in both instances, we're below the projected RFP amount. And I think the truck, we did really well. And I think we did pretty well on the backhoe also. So again,
So do I understand you're saying that if you go with Beauregard, you're getting the case at the same price that United Construction, and you would like us to accept that one because that's a piece of equipment that you would prefer?
Yeah, I mean,
what I'm understanding.
That's correct. And the other thing too is I have mostly case equipment right now. And when you start getting like an oddball piece of equipment in the lineup, you have another contractor you're dealing with, another, repair person.
That's perfectly clear. I just wanted to make sure that we understood which
that's
we were
right,
accepting.
Susan. You have it right. Beauregard is case. That's my recommendation. United Forestry and Equipment is John Deere, and case is willing to match the John Deere price. And I told them that I'd be explaining that to you folks and that they would have to honor the 153,400. And if they don't, I'll move forward with the other piece of equipment because then they would be going back on their word.
Okay. Any other questions or just?
We have to have a motion.
Make a motion to purchase the backhoe from Beauregard and the truck from Bryant's.
Second.
Any questions or further discussion?
The only other thing that I don't know if you want to go ahead and authorize me to do the outfitting work. I think that's outlined in the memo.
Yes. Yeah, I would think that was the intent of the motion to do the whole package there.
We don't want to buy you a truck and not buy you the plow to go with it.
Well, it would only be good in the summer. This truck is really I just couldn't believe it. It's got a pavement chute on it, a toolbox, a pintle hitch. It's got all the goodies on it, which the other one wouldn't have had, and it's almost half the price. So it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yep, we'll like the white truck.
All right.
Anyway,
well,
for those who would like, we have a motion and a second, and all those in favor? 5. And any opposed? Seeing none, that's approved.
Nice job.
Enjoy your white truck.
Finding a deal.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Okay, the next item C, we have a contract or purchase service agreement from MMA, and MMA would do is a contract for town manager search. It was recommended by Bill that we go ahead and go with MMA, and that was part of that agreement that we had drafted up, saying that we would be looking for MMA's assistance. So this is going along with that.
Which is the Maine Municipal Association.
Yes.
It's just helpful.
Oh,
It's just
right.
helpful for people.
Thank you very much.
We
Yeah.
all use acronyms and.
Right. Yes. The Maine Municipal Association. Are there any questions concerning that agreement? Bill has reviewed this, saw it as a basic agreement to help. The intent of going with the Maine Municipal Association is because of, one, they're already getting queries, and two, that's where people tend to look when they want to go ahead and be hired as a town manager. So it's the first place to look.
Yeah, and they are, MMA, Maine Municipal Association, is an organization that we belong to, which provides incredible support to towns in circumstances like this. So they are the logical partner in this process. They have the expertise in guiding the town through the process as well.
Right. That's exactly. And that's why Bill was in favor of that too.
And they will deliver 2 candidates, according to the paperwork here.
Yes, we'll work with them on the candidates overall. This is just the beginning.
What is the timing? How soon can they start?
They wanted to start. They've been after me for the last 3 weeks on going down this path, and I've had to say, hey, you guys know, I cannot authorize this alone. No single select board member can. It needs to be approved by the entire select board to be able to commit funds.
Did MMA write this or did you?
This is from MMA
Oh.
and Bill reviewed it.
Okay. The routine administrative decisions by the chair of the select board, is that proper? I don't think administrative decisions can be made without the vote of a select board. Should that be somebody else?
Where are you seeing that, Jen?
That's
Yeah.
item number 5 down at the bottom, under both parties agree. It says that the chair select board, Christopher Nolan, will serve as the primary contact person and will assist MMA with routine administrative decisions and press relations. So I don't think decisions and board chair go in the same sentence.
Probably
As
not.
far as,
Yeah. They probably are looking for a primary point of contact.
I'd be happy to be that person
Okay.
so that it separates the board from
Okay, that'd be great.
that. So,
Yeah, we should be able to give that to Bill tomorrow.
Yep.
Line through that
Mhm.
and go with that.
yeah, if you want to approve this with that.
That change, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll move that we approve with the amendment to paragraph 5, adding,
part
putting
3,
Jody's
yeah.
name in
Yeah, I'll
to serve as
second that.
primary contact person.
Great.
Yeah.
He got a second.
Yes, seconded.
All right, we've got a couple of folks. Steve?
I guess one point of focus about this was the fact that it seemed like there was just going to be one person on the board dealing with this. But my feeling is that I believe it was voted earlier that Audra is the town manager until December 31st. And not to beat a dead horse for the 5th time, as most people have, but given the incredible outpouring of recognition of expertise from former select board heads, another town manager, et cetera, I would hope that this could be put off a couple of months, given that we have 6 months. And that, to me, would give time to see if this new board composition can work a productive, professional relationship with what so many people recognize as an expert in the field. Thank you.
Anita?
Thank you. Anita Bercia Scott. This is kind of a freight train that's barreling ahead, and I feel like, and I think a lot of other citizens feel, that you are barreling ahead with this decision without any explanation to the citizens who are very much in support of retaining Audra Kaler. You're not commenting on our comments. You're not responding. Nothing. And this is not what I call transparent. That's what you campaigned on, transparency. And it's only transparent for what? For the things that you want to support. It's not transparent for what other people support. I would really like to see a discussion and an openness about this whole issue when you're getting so many comments in support of Audra. So many. It's just inappropriate, downright inappropriate.
Thank you.
I don't want to just hear a thank you. I want response. And this is the time in your agenda when you can provide response to people making comments, not just a thank you like you do for non-agenda items. This is an agenda item. And I'm asking for input. I'm asking for what you have to say about this issue. And there are a lot of people that feel that way.
Thank you. What I was going to say is some of the matters, unfortunately, personnel matters are unfortunately less transparent than what we'd like. But to be respectful for everyone involved, we do have certain things that do stay private because of things that are in executive session that are discussed. We're not able to bring those matters forward. Heck, we can't even keep notes in those meetings. So unfortunately, I know this feels really strange, underhanded, whatever you want to call it, but unfortunately, the lack of transparency is because of the personnel and contract matter.
Okay, so another question that has been asked and proposed is that she work with you for a year on a trial, whatever you want to call it, a probationary basis, so that the issues that have come to your attention that you find so egregious can be, maybe she can work on them or something. But this, I think that would be a resolution that I think a lot of people would be supportive of, a one-year probation. Can you do that?
Currently, we have an agreement that was a mutually based agreement to end the contract on December 31. And in the meantime, we need to go ahead, as also written in that agreement, that is the public document, that we will be seeking support from MMA to look for a new town manager. And there are provisions in there, in support of Audra, including, payment items that are in the contract until December 31.
Well, the impression that I get, and I don't know if other people feel this way, obviously, is that this contract came about in a railroad type of situation. And I don't understand why we can't do a one-year probation. 1 year.
Thank you. This is what the select board had agreed on, and it's where we're at this point.
It's not
We're
too late.
veering off the agenda item, unfortunately, Anita.
Sarah, would you like to speak?
Hey, Sarah Scrivenich. Maybe it's embedded in here, but I didn't see it, but what's the fiscal impact of engaging with the Maine Association for this search?
$6,600.
Okay, and then is it based then also on a percentage of if they hire, a percentage of what salary is, or so it's a flat fee?
It's a flat fee.
Okay.
It's a flat fee, although if it exceeds the agreed term, there is additional cost based on
Okay,
an
I
hourly rate.
was trying to scroll through and see.
Yeah.
Okay,
For
thanks.
up to 5 meetings.
Yeah.
Beyond the 6, there's a billing rate plus expenses for the consultant.
Thank you. We've had a motion and a second on this.
Still have some hands.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Jeff Scott, and I'm just looking down the road. The agreement with MMA is to do outreach, bring candidates in, and then when 2 finalists are chosen to vet them, is there going to be is the process starting to put a committee together?
Yeah,
review committee?
that's a good question, Jeff. We haven't
Yep.
started that process yet, but
Planting the seed.
Yeah,
planting the
nope,
seed.
that is, I believe it's a direction we're going to go, though I haven't discussed it with my colleagues to go ahead and do that.
It worked really
This-
well with the
this
police
was-
chief.
I get it. This was the first step that we had to do to get that going. And then we'll work on the rest of the process, but we had to do this just to start the engagement.
Thank you.
And MMA will advise on what the best process is.
That's right. And that's also what Bill's recommendation was too, along those lines that Chris just mentioned as well, that it's a process and we're going to use their guidance to do the best process for the town that we can. Yes, Ben. You're on mute.
Thank you. I saw in the contract states, understandably, that you will be the prime, Chris, will be the prime contact with MMA. And
We just
I want to
changed that.
encourage you
We
strongly.
just changed that.
Yeah, the motion that was made by Susan, as she recognized or somebody else recognized, Jody recognized that line was in
Not
there,
appropriate.
that I didn't catch that either, that'll be moved to the town manager as the primary point of contact. So on
Okay.
number 5, paragraph 3.
But in the cases where select board members get involved, I hope you include, more than yourself. Specifically, Chris O and Susan, as they represent a different section of the community. Thank you.
Yeah, we haven't finalized what the process will be in the end, but I know it will be a lot more than just me. Just like with I don't know for a fact because I haven't seen the process detailed yet from MMA, but what the process is, we're going to go ahead and follow, and certainly we would want to do things that are supported by all of us on the select board and the town manager. So I think you'll be happy
Thank
with
you.
the process. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. And let me also say I agree with Anita and Jeff and appreciate their comments.
Great. Thank you. One more comment. Yes, please. Thank you, Ben.
Lavada Snyder, I live in Camden on Timbercliff. I'm just a little confused about the language you changed so that the contact is Jody as the acting town manager. If Audra comes back from medical leave, which we all are hoping she does, doesn't that bring a conflict into the language? Because Jody will no longer be the acting town manager.
Yeah, I see your point.
If we name Jody as the individual who is the direct contact, then Jody remains regardless of.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
still, as finance director, still be that contact to keep the select board, keep that division.
That's good. Good. Thank you. And shall we go to a vote for those who approve? All those in favor? 5 in favor. Any opposed? Seeing none, that passes 5-0. Thank you. Next, item D as in Delta, vote on the official MMA ballot for Legislative Policy Committee. Carrie.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Before we get started, Chris, congratulations on your reelection and your new job. Bobby, nice to meet you. You want me to tell you about that?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Give us the spiel here.
All right, so while we're not doing acronyms, LPC means Legislative Policy Committee. I've been on that since 2021, I think. The LPC, for people who don't know, Maine Municipal Association, one of the main functions that they do is they work with the legislature, which is a fancy way of saying lobbying. And the LPC reviews every bill that has a municipal impact. We debate it, we discuss it, and we decide whether or not MMA should support it, oppose it. There are 3 other options there too, but we give them their marching orders basically, and then they go to the legislature and they speak. They use our discussion as their notes, and they speak in favor or against or whatever on particular bills. And so it's a pretty important thing. The LPC is made up of 2 elected members from every Senate district. So there are 35 Senate districts, so there are 70 people on the LPC. And it's pretty rewarding. We make a lot of good things happen. My focus has been, for a while, I was the only assessor on the LPC. Now I'm one of 3. And my focus has always been about tax relief. And if a bill comes before us that's going to add pressure to the mill rate, I'm automatically opposed to it. If it's going to be helpful to people and not increase the mill rate, then I'm all for it. Last session, actually, the legislative sessions are broken up into 2 parts. So in the first part of this most recent session, I testified on 27 different bills, mostly opposed to bad ideas, but yeah. So that's what the LPC is, and I would appreciate, I thought about bringing some bubblegum cigars and ask for your vote, but.
So you're asking for our vote there are, the need to vote for 2, and we see 2 on the ballot, you and Cara George.
Right. She's the town manager in Thomaston.
And you're looking for our vote.
I am.
I will say that for all the time that you've been in this position, I have heard people in the legislature singing your praises about how thoroughly you are prepared, how strongly you advocate for taxpayers in the state of Maine, and we are very well served to have you here in your position with your understanding and also looking out for taxpayers all over the state of Maine. So I am grateful, and I'm grateful that you're willing to continue to do it because I'm sure it is grueling.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank
you. I'd like to make a motion.
I would move that I don't know whether we have to approve the whole ballot. Do we vote for both?
It's 2 pieces, two people running for 2 positions, so we could.
I'm not sure I understand the distinction. So we're voting for Carrie and for Kara?
Yeah.
Sure.
Move to approve the ballot for District 12, Maine Municipal Association Legislative Policy Committee.
I'll second that.
And any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, that motion carries.
Thank you.
And while you're there, let's talk about the approval of a property tax abatement.
Let's do that.
Thank you.
So the way the laws, the way the statute is on abatements is I am authorized to abate for 1 year after commitment any valuation disputes or questions or corrections. You, as the municipal officers, are authorized to, so I can only go back 1 year. You can go back 3 years, but not on any valuation disputes, only on errors, illegal assessments, and that sort of thing, which this is what this is. This is a situation where somebody got ill, they suspended business operations, we didn't know about it, so they kept on getting a bill. When she let us know that's what the situation was, we immediately abated this year and are coming to you to go back to 3 years.
Any questions or issues with any of these abatements that are listed in the packet?
It's only,
Not a lot of money.
No. Yeah.
what? It's 99 pages for $60.72. Is that what I'm looking at here?
Yeah, I try not to judge.
It's a lot,
Is that-
of
is that
scrolling, a lot of
just-
scrolling to get through the,
Yeah, it ends on page
Okay.
52.
oh, okay, yep.
Is that, so there's 3 years of abatements, right?
That's right.
So each year, like, 2023 is $60.72, and then 2024 is $57.75, and 2025 is $69.
Yeah.
You already did that one, right? The 2025 you already.
Yes.
The
Yes, that's right.
$69, so we're voting on the
100 and
So moved.
Yeah.
Okay, so
$20 and.
Approval of abatement.
Second.
there we go. Thank you, Bobby.
Yep.
Yeah, and all those in favor?
Yeah, that was an easy
And
one.
any opposed? No. Thank you very much,
Okay,
Gary.
thank you all.
Gary.
And don't forget to sign that. I'll
Yes.
get, your cigars are in the mail.
Okay,
All right. Do we have a paper copy of that in our packet here?
should be, is there a folder?
Yeah, there's a folder. Hopefully there's that. Make sure we got it.
See you tomorrow.
Okay.
The deadline is like the 27th. Yeah, we have it here. Great. Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Okay, moving on to assignment of select board liaisons to town boards and committees. And looking at the committees that we had Allison on the Camden Conservation Committee, the Trust Fund Advisory Committee, Camden Public Library, and the paid parking group. Now, on the Camden Public Library, I do also see that it says Susan. Is there a need to have two on that liaison? Is one sufficient?
I was shadowing Allison. She was the official liaison, and I had started to go to their meetings in anticipation of her moving off of that position, and I would like to continue in that role.
Okay. And is there a need for two people for the Trust Fund Advisory Committee?
I think we do have to have two for that.
I believe we do. So it'd be 2 select board members, myself, Janice,
And the town.
and the town manager.
I would love to be on that.
Would you, is there anyone else besides Bobby?
I
You're already on
would
it.
like to continue
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah.
role, for
Yeah, yeah.
sure.
Super. All right. And then the other one is Camden Conservation Committee.
I'd be willing if no one else wants it.
Okay. That meets the first Wednesday, what it looks like, 12:30. All right. Those are the only ones, well, there was the Police Advisory Committee, which I don't know if it has really done much. I'm not aware of anything. I don't know that that needs to be a replacement for Alice on that. I'm currently on it, but again, I don't think it's even had a charter or anything. So I would say probably not unless it gets interesting. And then on the paid parking, is that still functioning as a committee, that work group, or no?
Not that I know of,
Okay.
but
All right. And then on the Snowball Master Plan, we've got Chris O and Ken, and that's just gonna,
That's continuing.
that's continuing, right?
Right.
The other one is historic resources, which I would give that over if someone else was interested in that one.
I would do that.
Would you?
I have to do the timing of these.
Right,
Yeah,
That's a
I know,
good
that's why I
time
was
for me,
looking if
yeah.
that's a good time for you.
Yeah,
That would be,
Yeah, that's the second Mondays, monthly is what it says currently.
Yeah, it's at 4 o'clock in the
4
afternoon. Like that's pretty.
Does
easy
that work
me
for
too.
you?
Yeah, that works way better for me than like 12:30 in the afternoon.
Okay. Good.
And there's no one on the zoning board?
Yeah, I don't think we can be.
Oh, okay.
And keep in mind, it's zoning board of appeal, so it's just it's when they have an appeal, there's no real liaison role there.
So that covers those changes. All those in favor of the changes that we mentioned again.
What about the MRCAC?
That, I did not have that one listed. We had,
that doesn't exist anymore. It's been merged into the McGonagall River
Association.
the Watershed Association.
Well,
So
there's that, but I mean, MRCAC is just kind of in hiatus right now, so.
Yeah.
That is to some of the questions earlier this evening of what is the status of MRCAC
Right.
is not clear right now.
Yeah, so we'll address that when we need to. So the changes that I captured were, just make sure I got this right. Camden Conservation, Chris O.
Why don't you read each committee and their liaison, or I can do that for you.
I can do that. So the Pathways Committee is Susan. The Camden Conservation is Chris O. Cemetery Association, Ken. Harbor Committee, Chris O. Historical Resources Committee, Susan and Ken.
No, Bobby.
Oh, Bobby, sorry,
Yeah.
thank you. There we go. Bobby and Ken. Investment Committee, Susan. Planning,
Which has never met.
yep. Planning Board, Chris O. Trust Fund will be Bobby and Susan. Nobody for the Zoning Board of Appeals. Camden Public Library, Board of Directors, Susan. Midco Solid Waste is McKellar and Oxton Blake. Paid parking, if we, I think is not applicable anymore. Police Advisory Committee is Nolan, and Snowball Master Plan is Chris O. and Ken.
And I would like to say for the Pathways Committee, if you can't ever do that, let me know because I'd be happy to go.
Okay, great.
Okay, super. So can we get a motion to that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any opposed? Oops, all those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, then we'll go with that. On those notes, the next item then is designation of, it will start with the Budget Committee.
Are you looking at the yellow highlighted page, just so we're all kind of looking at the same?
That's my summation of it.
That's what I'm saying, like, if we're all looking at the same page 57.
It's in the sequence. It's in the
57 in the packet.
Yep.
Rather than trying to scan through all the
Yeah.
application forms.
Yeah, I get it. That's why I made my own little notes, because otherwise I would have gone nuts.
You just go down
Page,
through.
yeah, page 57. Page 57 has a kind of an Excel spreadsheet view of the different committees, who is, their terms are expiring, and those who are interested in attaining a seat at the table at one of the committees. I don't know if it would be appropriate, but if there's any concern or discussion of any of those who are incumbents. Are there any concerns for any of the committees? Okay,
What's that?
okay, good. All right, but are there any concerns of any of the incumbents retaining their positions on the current committees that they serve?
I would say not. The challenge is that we've got a lot of qualified folks who
For
have
those extra spots.
expressed interest, especially on budget.
Mhm.
I don't know what the criteria will be to select that. So we don't have any alternates. We don't have alternates on budget, so we just need one person.
Mhm.
And they're all,
There are a couple that are really, really good.
I know, sort of have an embarrassment of riches
any?
here.
I think Dennis and I think Charles would be really good too.
Mhm.
I've had a couple people reach out to me about that.
Mhm.
But they both have significant background in accounting.
Yeah, Dennis was the one who reached out to me before about trying to do something on
Oh, the analysis of the
analysis. 'Cause
parking,
he tends to be a analysis type,
right?
type guy.
I just got a message from Barb Olan saying that she is only serving a 1-year term.
From who?
Barb
Barb
Olin,
Olin.
so she's only got one more year.
So
But we do it every,
she's saying
Yep.
she's going off this year.
That she's,
So it's
that
an open
she,
seat this
That
year?
would be an open seat.
another open seat.
She has her hand raised.
Yeah,
right, it's 2028 is,
Okay.
like she's saying that that's an error.
So what is, Barb, what is your comment? I can't see it. You're on mute.
That would be another vacancy. So that would be-
Last year, I was only supposed to be for 1 year,
Okay.
and I'll be away, so I can't be.
Okay. So what you're saying is we should fill that
We
spot
actually have
tonight.
two.
Yes.
Two
Okay.
of those
Oh,
four
okay.
we can appoint.
Thank you for,
okay.
for mentioning that.
Great.
That's not what we had. So thank you.
Okay, thanks.
So are you saying for the Charles man? Is that where you were saying, Bobby?
Yeah.
And Dennis,
And Dennis, add them to the budget committee?
that sounds good.
And
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is it on?
It is.
That
so,
red-green colorblind thing, I can't do.
so that would be Dennis and Charles for would be added to the budget
Budget
committee
committee.
for the current vacancy and the new vacancy, as Barb had noted.
I would second that.
And I just have a question, just where we have alternates in some places,
Yes.
where we have so many qualified, would we want to put one person in as an alternate in case something happened to anybody, or is that not a thing?
Budget committee doesn't have alternates.
Doesn't need to
It's
have
just
an
not in there. But, it is also the committee that any member of the public is welcome to participate in
participate in,
and show
okay.
up and ask questions. So
Fantastic.
the
It's
more
true.
who come,
So for the budget committee, we should make it explicit that we have 3 returning members and they are being reappointed. Mark
That's correct.
Ratner, Courtney Silkforth, and Matt Wolf.
That's correct. And adding in Mamam and Pulls.
Right.
Should we
So moved.
take that?
So we do them one at a time?
I think we'll do it one
Yeah,
at a time.
that'd be
and
good.
Be quick.
All right, I'll second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none? Thank you. The next is the Pathways Committee and the returning.
No, conservation.
Oh, okay. Conservation is,
we just have one
Sure.
asking to.
yeah, I
return,
just
so-
have one person. And now that looks like the Kathleen Mundell piece means that we will have an opening on the Conservation Committee. That is not filled.
Correct.
But we'll go to reappoint
Samantha Sharp.
Samantha Sharf.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? None? Great. Next, Camden Conservation. Is that what you want to go to?
No, that's what we
Oh,
just did.
sorry. Camden Rockport Pathways. We have Jeff, Andrew, Jane Self, and Gary Fowley interested in continuing on. We have one alternate, Lindsay Levine, who is not looking to continue. As a result, then, we really have an opening for another. So that would be left open at this point.
So it would be
So we already
Jeff
have
and
two.
Andrew, regular members, and Jane and Gary to continue as alternates.
That's correct.
Okay.
Gary's the only alternate in that. Yes.
Jane is too.
No,
Yeah, I'm
Jane
sorry,
But that's
Jane.
sort of at the chair.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just make a motion to reappoint Jeff Scott, Andrew Stanshoff, Jane Self, and Gary Fowley to Pathways Committee.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? None? Great. Um,
I'll make a motion to reappoint John French and Bob Oxton to the Cemetery Committee.
And add David Kibbe.
And add David
Going
Kibbe?
to get
Good.
I was going for a pause.
You want to second that, Susan?
Yeah, David Kibbe will be an excellent addition to the, he's been very involved with,
Good.
yeah, so he's going to be great.
All those in favor? Opposed?
Abstaining.
None? Okay, you're abstaining. So that's a 4-0 for the
Okay.
AI
One
note taker,
abstention.
where Bobby will abstain. Okay, Harbor Committee. On the Harbor Committee, we have a vacancy that's a 1-year vacancy, and E. Thompson is a 3-year vacancy. We've got people who are interested. We've got
The
Steve
two-
Gold, Nancy Rowe. And they've both been on the committees before as alternates.
So I'm going to make a motion that we reappoint Steve Gold and Nancy Rowe and add Peter Lindquist as an alternate, but let the Harbor Committee decide which of those two will take 1-year or 3-year terms.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
I'll second that.
It's fine.
Any discussion?
Knowing the
Yeah,
inner machinations of
we'll
Harbor.
let Nancy and Steve.
Yep, fight it out. Duke it
All right,
out.
good. Rock, paper, scissors. All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, great. Then on the Historical Resources Committee, we have one vacancy. And we've had a request from the chair to also accept Joe Rosillo.
As the alternate.
As the alternate, yep.
There seems Chris Frieden is the current chair and his name is not on the current members. I think it should be there. If you're looking for 5 regular members, it would be Chris and the 4 that are listed there.
Is it Danielle or Daniel?
Is it
It's
Chris? How do you
Daniel.
spell Chris's last name? It's not,
Okay.
Friden, I think.
yeah, maybe I have an updated copy that's slightly different that shows him on mine. I don't know why. This is the one that was online.
Bother.
But anyway, that means that there's really no room for JP Fecto in that particular committee.
But if we let him know that we appreciate his interest and that he's welcome to,
Continue to.
And that there are other committees he could
Yeah,
apply for.
super. Any other, is there a motion to,
Motion to reappoint Andrew Barr, Daniel Solomon, and appoint Joseph Rosillo as alternate.
great.
second,
All those in favor? Any opposed? None? All right, next is Investment Committee. We don't have anything there. The Planning Board, we've got McGrath vacancy and an alternate. And then we've got our householder and Allison, who would like to be members of the Planning Board Committee.
so moved.
Second.
Now,
One's
Mm.
an
the
alternate,
establishment of
one's-
the alternate though versus the primary?
I
We
would
let the board
I
decide
would let
there
the board
too.
decide
Okay.
because they may have another vacancy as well.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
What was that?
Let the board decide they may have another vacancy as well.
On the planning
On
board.
who's the alternate and who's actually on the committee.
I
Okay.
think we should make the assignment. That's our job.
So we have a motion. and a
You've
second.
got a motion. It's
Okay.
second. All those in favor of the motion to, which would be to assign them and let the planning board decide on the term for the person. All those in favor?
I mean, that's what we did for the.
And-
Could you clarify again who we're appointing?
Householder
and
and
McKellar.
McKellar. They're the only two that expressed interest in the planning board.
Right, so they will be short.
Yes. Yes,
And
we will
alternate.
still have vacancies on planning board.
Right, okay.
All those in favor? All right, 5. Any opposed? No, seeing none? Great. And
Make a motion to reappoint John French and Madeline Martindale.
for the zoning board of appeals?
Yep.
And they would,
Especially for other members too, so please try to, if you know anyone out there that wants to be on the ZBA.
well, it looks like and it looks like
Looks
they
like
would
there's
both
only
be
one alternate.
full members if Deborah Chapman is not renewing.
Okay.
So you
Yeah.
need an alternate.
Jeremy, how often are they likely to meet?
Second and fourth Thursday is what's listed.
Yeah, it's about once a month is what it's been, but it's really about when an application comes in, so, but it's about once a month, and we've been struggling to get a quorum for those, so we have to push projects out that are trying to get a project approved, and sometimes we have to push them out for another month
Okay.
just to get a quorum, so.
So I have a question. Can people continue to apply for these like throughout the year and we can put them on? Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point that Bobby just made, that, typically we try to do this as it's listed there as once a year, we go ahead and get applications, but it is a necessity to keep these committees going. And that as there's movement, that we would encourage people to apply to what they're interested in as vacancies and such become available. So,
We need a vote on ZBA.
oh, all those in favor? Any opposed? Not seeing none. That's great. Thank you. Moving on. Make sure I'm in the right spot
Have a
here.
good night.
Okay, now we are on to
Is it?
the vote to suspend paid parking on the streets for the season of 2026, which would be this season. And, to preface that, I know there's a lot of folks here, and, I've done a little research that hopefully might help. It uses data that's been available to us, typically in the select board packets, but I've tried to consolidate it. So just to provide a little bit of context, I just want to go over some of the data that people have either asked about or are interested in, and I'll be brief. So in short, yes, is there income with paid parking? At our current rate that we have as of the report I just got today, we would be, for this particular season, we would probably have $186,000 is the projected revenue for this season, paid parking from the meters alone. There are expenses that are associated with the paid parking program. And when you look at the expenses that have happened outside of the initial purchase price of the devices and the software, the expenses since September are $65,000 in just related to the paid parking equipment and fees.
For the
And
whole season.
from September until July right now,
Okay.
it's $65,000. If you go back to the April 2025 select board packet, you would see that the expenses are listed on an annual recurring expenses are $123,000. There are some fixed fees, and there are also some fees that are based on usage. In other words, the more parking spots you sell, there's a little bit of a fee that we have to pay as a town. There are fixed fees, like a maintenance contract is fixed. So there is fluctuation in there. And that's why, even though it's at 123,000 was the prior piece, that also 123,000 included an extra part-time patrol officer. So anyway, the original purchase price is $255,000. We paid also last year the second payment of that of $127,700. We also, so that's the paid parking devices. Now, we also budgeted an amount of $50,000 for parking tickets are part of this year's budget. And while that sounds maybe like a lot, in prior years, prior to paid parking, looking at like 2013 to about 2020, it's about $16,000 a year that we ordinarily would get out of parking ticketing fees. There is, and there was an incremental to about $55,000 when we just had paid parking down at the public landing.
I don't mean to interrupt, but this is
important thinking. Yep.
No,
go
the
ahead.
problem is that you're giving us a whole bunch of numbers that I don't have information. I don't have.
I understand.
Even if you had a spreadsheet that we could see online, like you're
I
throwing
get
a ton of numbers out here that I can't process.
I also
So-
need to just add that the cost of enforcement is not part of the special revenue fund that you're talking about.
That's correct.
Okay.
Just bear with me a moment.
Well,
Chriso.
it's just not super helpful to
Just bear with me a
have all
moment.
this data that I can't process.
I'm almost done. The data is available in our budgeted items, and that's important to know. And I wanted to make sure that people knew, because we've talked about if we don't do paid parking, there is a gap of $150,000 that we expected in revenue this year in the paid parking program as part of the budget process. And also part of that budget process, there is the expectation of how much we would be collecting in tickets. And looking at the April 2025 select board packet, you would see that the estimated number of tickets in that particular estimate was a little over 4,000 parking tickets would be issued. And, you know, we've had a problem with one of the systems, so that I think there may be a gap with what we'll be able to achieve. And that's why I bring it up.
How many tickets have we issued so far?
As of July 4th, during the paid parking time period of June 22nd to July 14th, it was only 135. Again, because of
135 what?
tickets.
Issued for non-payment for parking.
Yeah,
Okay.
related to
Just need
parking.
more background.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and that's because of a piece of equipment failure.
Okay.
So that's occurred. Now, so the big thoughts are, okay, we budgeted $150,000 in the budget. We're currently on a run rate, if we go exactly as we are right now, probably to get about $186,000. And you can take the document that's in our packet and extrapolate a little bit from that, but basically it's gotten better the past few days as far as the amount of money per day that we receive. So anyway, $186,000 is what we're looking to probably to get. Expenses will probably be in the $65,000 to $80,000 range based on fees and whatnot for the rest of the season.
And this does not include the public landing?
This includes the public
It
landing
does,
too.
okay.
Yep. That's a good point. When we ran it just at the public landing, the amount that we collected, I think, was $65,000 when we just did the public landing. And we
Last
had,
season.
yeah, and we had $55,000 in.
Yeah, this is, I mean,
So
I
just so-
appreciate
just so
that
you
you've
know.
done this digging, but sharing with us beforehand would have been far more useful.
Yeah, I agree.
Or waiting on the discussion till we all can see the data and process it would be useful.
Thank you. And I do that because there was concern about understanding the impacts of paid parking and understanding the costs associated and the revenues is a concern. And so for us to go into a vote of what do we do about paid parking for the rest of the season, I'm trying to contextualize as quickly as I could have gotten the information about that based on information that we've
But
had.
you are asking us to make a decision based on information that we haven't had time to process and review. And that the public haven't had a chance to process and review.
Excuse me, let me just finish for a moment. I understand your concern. The information is available in the April 2015 packet, as well as the information's available. The April 15, 2025 Select Board packet has the prognostications for costs associated and revenue at that time of the paid parking program. It's in the April 15, 2025 packet. And then the piece that I mentioned as far as extrapolating the revenue that we've made thus far is a slight update from what I have in the packet because it's been another week and Holly gave a new report today. I think in that packet, that's in your packet, it shows $1,200 and some odd dollars a day. And now it's basically $1,400 a day is what they've been seeing since this is done. So I wanted to mention that. And as part of deciding about what do we, and this is specifically written to say, do we stop the paid parking on the streets and just go maybe with a public landing? That's what is on there as an action item. And I understand that doing risk assessments, it's really hard to do a quantitative analysis on reputation risk. Understanding the impacts financially is one piece, and that's where we have to understand the financial impacts to the budget half, but there is the reputation side too. And I've seen, there's a couple of other things, and then I'll stop. Things that I've seen are, and hear from others, is the concern about we did not do a good job with ensuring we have proper signage out there to instruct people that they need to pay to park when they park in Camden. Although there is a website and it describes the different pieces, there are no signs in town that say you have to pay for parking. So if we do continue with the program tonight, I would advocate us to improve our execution and our customer service and the requirement to have signs that say paid parking. I could have an example of a paid parking being listed for all those areas that are green, put up a little sign, little attachment, not a big sign, but just a little attachment to say paid parking, where there's a 2-hour parking sign in the green area. And in the blue areas, say it's free parking. At least that way people could tell near that sign what they're supposed to do. We do have a lot of people here tonight. I just wanted to give you the context on the financial side, but if you're going to talk tonight, we are running out of time for a meeting, and we want to keep it to what you have experienced and what your concerns are with the paid parking program. We already know the issues are with lack of signage and people not knowing that they need to pay.
Can we respond a little bit?
Sure.
Because I think it's hugely important to remember that the parking program is not just about revenue. The parking program comes out of several years and actually decades of Camden studying how to make parking better in the downtown area, how to get turnover of spots, how to get people to do long-term parking in the outer areas. Some of us may remember the shuttle bus program in the 90s. Like, these are things that came out of a lot of studying, and it isn't just about making money. It's about making it so that you can actually easily park in town. That aspect of the program is clearly having a huge amount of success because the lots, the free parking long-term lots, like the lot behind the mill, are now full, whereas last summer they were often empty. There are empty spaces in town for shorter term parking. That's one of the goals. So for me, and this will come as no surprise to everyone in the room, that I think that suspending the program now when we're just starting to figure it out would be a colossal mistake, because we're just trying to figure out where there are problems. Yes, signage and communication is something we all agree could be improved on. Figuring out the machines, but to say that people can't figure it out, well, just as I was parking to come into this meeting, I had to honk my horn at a woman who was driving that way up Washington Street, which I have seen at least once a week for most of my life. I mean, people can figure this out. So to me, I think it's also fairly clear that there's a majority of will on the board to suspend this before we spend a huge amount of time hearing more comments from the public. And I'm not trying to say that I don't want anyone to have their say, but that's not what I just said.
It's okay.
I just said that I want people to have their say. But before we go through another round, if there's a foregone conclusion, let's move the issue along. But I think it's very ironic that a large group of people who have been saying for so long we should have a public vote on public parking are now happy to let the board suspend it without a broader community discussion and without real information being presented and consumed and analyzed.
Thank you.
Go
ahead, Ken.
I do want to hear from people. I have a framework in mind which may help you tell me what you'd like to do, but Chris, you're jumping to an assumption, and I don't think you're right about where we're headed. I'm trying to take into account several factors, including the fact that there are two goals. We want to make money and we want to have a churn. So that's one of the factors. I'm trying to take all of these factors into account at once. Foremost, we've made a mistake. We have implemented and invested in paid parking before we put it to a town vote. So we are in the hole.
Wait. Please, let Ken, thank you for your support, but let Ken finish, please.
So we're in the hole, by my accounting, sort of shorthand for what Chris said. The installation and the cost was roughly $230,000. We have it in our budget, as Jody has pointed out, $150,000 of revenue that if we don't have that revenue, we're in the hole another $150,000. So at the beginning of the season, we're $480,000 in the hole. I would like to consider letting it run to get some of that back. You know that I've been against the paid parking program from the beginning, and I will vote against it in November. Part of my assessment is that, yes, there will be a vote on the November ballot. It might be a binding ballot measure. It might be a non-binding ballot measure, but we're not discussing that issue tonight. But I am assuming that you will be offered the chance to vote. So as Chriso said, that leads to I don't want to prevent that vote having meaning. What else? I think that covers all of the framework questions. So if you,
I'd actually like to just, I'd like to just say something too. I sort of feel like we didn't vote on this particularly, but the flyer that Chris and I put out, that we mailed out on the back, was to save the police department and to remove paid parking. There weren't very many stores in town that didn't have one of the flyers to remove paid parking. And I don't think businesses were taken into consideration. And when you think about this, a lot of our business owners don't live in Camden. So they weren't the ones voting on this. And it's sort of what we won on. You know what I mean? So we have to bring this to a vote because it's what we ran on to do this. And it would be horrible if we didn't. I mean, it would be going back on what we said we were going to try to do.
Yeah, but the question is now or, and I appreciate what you're saying, but pursuant to what Ken has said, you know, does it have to be right now at the beginning of a busy summer season, or do you fulfill that in response to a vote in November when you say, okay, we're happy to pull the plug then? I mean, I've just, you know, this is not the hill I'm going to die on. I'm tired of talking about it. And whatever the board decides is fine. I can't listen to lots more people saying why they don't like paid parking. I think we've heard every reason imaginable. And so if there is a structure to allow us to recoup some costs, my concern comes down to where we are looking at the budget, and are there some tweaks that we can make to make it work better for this season? And then we respond accordingly, which will fulfill your mandate and also perhaps address the financial concerns and let the experiment run and see if it truly is workable or as egregious as many people seem to think that it is.
Thank you. I would like to entertain some public comment. Now, we do only have, we are supposed to end our meeting at 9:30. So if you could make your comments as brief as possible, that would be awesome. And we'll start here in the front.
Good evening. Halfway through summer with slightly more than a month to go before Labor Day, the traditional end of summer in downtown Camden, Maine, which I think we all know what that looks like in the summer. My name is Lori Costigan. I'm the owner of Glendara Lavender, and I'm writing to you today and speaking with you on behalf of over 24 business owners in downtown Camden who hope to see you vote this evening. Community ambassadors, business owners, property owners, lease and stakeholders in the year-round vitality of downtown Camden, we write to share our informed experiences with the unintended consequences of the pay-to-park system. Further, we respectfully request the system be shelved in favor of a more isolated, quantifiable, easy-to-use, and easy-to-enforce initiative with municipal lots, not vehicular streets. The pay-to-park system makes the main streets and Route 1 new revenue-generating instruments for the municipality and seems to do so without regard for those who use the services provided along public ways. The parking systems require 30 minutes of use, yet most services are grab and go within the heart of downtown. This is particularly true not only for our Camden customers, but of the friends, neighbors, and surrounding communities who have made Camden a regular destination. Each business owner listed below has lost regular customers from surrounding communities, has assisted Mainers and visitors alike befuddled by the parking meters, has served as interpreters when people try to find kiosks. Color coding only further baffles residents and visitors daily. Each store owner has experienced people panicking about the threat of tickets when machines fail to accept payment methods. The result is often driving away in frustration. Others resist taking the time it takes to fill out the parking information when they are simply trying to purchase a lunch, sandwich, or a quick gift. Still worse, Camden residents and business owners with receipts for paid grace time, because they are Camden residents are ticketed by officers who can't find their plate numbers in the new system. The digital Park Smarter app fails to show available spaces for those who attempt to follow signage and use the app. The officers are left patrolling the innocent instead of attending other duties they do well. In our collective experiences of assisting officers and keeping Camden safe, we find ourselves asking if the seasonal chalk patrol was far more effective. As patrons of downtown shops and services, we note increasingly the availability of parking in the late afternoons. This suggests capacity of the pay-to-use system exceeds utilization and shows a dramatic shift from the congested parking that led to the system in the first place. It suggests the folly of making the entire downtown a revenue stream. Camden's strength is its year-round community, the fact its downtown remains a place used by the many, not the few, and the fact the mountains and sea restrict large-scale development. The people we see from near and far enjoy the convenience and variety of what is still available in downtown Camden. They enjoy using a local grocer, going to a local bank, and grabbing a quick sandwich at a local deli. These activities are all curbed. The desire to find new revenue sources is real. Let it be in town lots with ease of access and a single parking arm. Leave Main, Elm, High, and Bayview, Chestnut, and Mechanic as the come and go. 2-hour access we all know. Build town coffers in zones that people who truly need 2 hours of parking or will use, or reduce meters to 15-minute increments and quick coins. As it stands, the system seems to alienate far more than it embraces, and we see the unintended consequences, those beyond the quick revenue for this municipality, daily. Respectfully yours, Lori Costigan, Glendara Lavender, Arthur Kirklian, The Leather Bench, Tom Rothwell, Camden Deli, Jessica and Nancy Leonard of Leonard's, Marianne and Stuart Smith of Main Sport and the Bayview Collection, Catherine Hurd, LCPC, Leslie Curtis and Don Pecoraro of Leslie Curtis Designs, Renee Matthews of DAC Designs, Lee Montgomery and Holly Rutland of Camden Harbor Properties, Margaret Rizzio of Serendipity Fine Consignment, Jana Hallwick, Carver Hill Designs, Zach Adolphson, Mechanic Street Barbershop, Jessica Ives, Ives Art, Jonathan Ives, Making Movement Clinical Massage, Eve Smith of Mixed Greens, Allie Aiken of Nail Diva, Megan Vanderkeef of Margot Moore Interiors and a little more, Gary Anderson of Lily Lupin and Fern, Isabel Crane of Zoot Coffee, Rachel Imus, Lone Pine Real Estate, Greg Imus, Lone Pine Real Estate, Alicia Adelson of the Smoothie Shack and Mixed Greens, Thomas O'Donovan, Harbor Square Gallery, Scott Horty, Camden Real Estate, Bregan Theta, Packenwall, Long Grain, and Hannah Adams and Divine Dearden of Winona's. Thank you. Please vote accordingly.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Yes, thank you, Lori. Could you email that to me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I worked really hard to keep this to 2 minutes, so I'm going to go a little tiny bit slower.
Just introduce yourself too, please.
Yes, I'm Stacy Lindell. I'm from Rockport, so I hope I'll actually be offering a little new perspective for you. So, thank you for providing a forum to share perspectives on my paid parking experiences. As a Rockport homeowner, I was deeply dismayed with the program. Camden implemented a predatory paid parking program that unduly impacts locals and disincentivizes us to patronize downtown. Though Camden and Rockport share a myriad of services, schools, and employees, Rockport does not get a parking grace period. At the minimum, 5 town residents should get the daily grace period. Midcoast residents pay a premium to live here. Already, the prices for goods and services are inflated all year round. I travel all across this country. I go to some very fancy places and I spend real money. And unequivocally, everything in Camden is more expensive. Foisting paid parking onto locals only adds insult to injury. The current paid parking program forces me to consider the frustration of patronizing Camden. A little sidebar here. I don't have a smartphone. I don't do a smartphone. I have a little mobility issue, even though I'm not that old. I have to really plan where I'm going to park because if my hip starts to hurt, I can't get back to my car. So if you want me to try to figure out this parking, I can't do it easily on the smartphone. You're making it egregiously complicated when I just want to run to French and Braun, which, by the way, we spend nearly $2,000 a month at French and Braun. And I'm not going to pay for that privilege to give the grocery store more money. And I like the French Motor. I like all my Camden businesses, but I'm not going to pay egregious extra money because you guys are being predatory. So, the current paid parking program forces me to consider the frustration of patronizing Camden. If paid parking remains, I will boycott all Camden businesses rather than pay a hostage fee, one imposed without the buy-in or the agency of Camden voters. And by the way, we have grieved over the divisiveness that has happened to poor Camden. We are horrified by what has happened over the past 7 years. So, we don't get a say, but we have a strong connection to Camden. We chose to move here. We chose to invest here. I choose to shop exclusively in Camden. And we have significant purchasing power, and I'm annoyed. So when I want a day in Camden, I don't want to worry about paid parking. This is a 2-street downtown. Blink and you will miss it. Having paid parking is literally obscene. Just this year, I have seen numerous elderly people confused about the new system, heard angry visitors not know why they were ticketed, seen a frustrated parent fight a malfunctioning parking machine while clutching a screaming toddler, and a rise in grouchy attitudes of people who are expecting to enjoy a sleepy seaside town, but actually feeling penalized, nickel and dimed, or afraid their small children were going to dart into traffic and get hit by a car, which, by the way, has happened here in town. All the while, they're expected to throw their money at businesses while summarily being given the bum rush to get out, hurry up, give us your money, get out, let's them turn it over.
Thank you, Stacy. We've got other folks. I've got to keep you to two.
I was trying. Okay, can I say the last sentence?
Please,
Okay.
One last sentence.
I will email this to you because
Thank
I think
you.
you need to see it. You must critically analyze the real cost of this program, as the small revenue you get is sure to kill your town. You're going to have lots of empty parking spots and lots of empty storefronts.
Thank you. Please.
Paul
2 minutes.
Velleman.
Really try to keep it to 2 minutes.
Very short. I'm a Camden resident. I appreciate, Chris, your summary, but I want to try to simplify things because I had looked at the numbers. I went and looked at the original consultant's report, and that report predicted income of $531,000 for the season, which came to $38.77 a day. And I can understand why, looking at that kind of income, that was very attractive to the board at the time. The problem is, looking at the result of what we have, we're only making $1,355 a day, which is about a third of what was predicted. So all I want to point out is that the original consultant's projection of how the meters would work for us was badly overestimated. I don't know if they had a dog in that fight or not, but I think we need to rethink it for that reason. And I just wanted to simplify it down to that without going through the whole legal thing and the tickets and all of that. Just very basically, they're not working. We're not getting the income you expected.
Thank you. One of the reasons for that is that we are, you can come up to the podium, it's real quick, is that originally the projections were based on $3 an hour and we're doing $2 an hour. So there could be a,
Didn't see that in the report.
yeah, that's in there too. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
but that's okay. Remember to introduce yourself, please.
Yes. Jessica Ives. I live in the heart of Camden, right downtown Main Street, and I speak from the heart of Camden, and I don't consent to any AI interpretation of what I'm about to say. This is human to human right now. And I would like to have some time because I didn't get to speak in the last meeting.
Yes.
Jonathan and I chose not to sign up for the resident pass. We're a one-car family, and we have goods and materials for life, and 2 businesses really would have come in handy. But we won't sign up as long as the price to participate is volunteering our license and registration information to build out the database of a multinational corporation, i.e. Flowbird, that specializes in urban mobility, which is really just a propaganda term for surveillance and social engineering. You'll notice on the PDF I gave you that Flowbird kiosks installed in Camden come standard to accept coins and bills. It's right on there. That's the standard model, meaning the town of Camden made an intentional choice to customize this option out. Users must pay by card or phone only, and for additional fee above the advertised rate of $2 an hour. Keep in mind, it's illegal for all businesses on Main Street to discriminate in the same way against legal tender. So the only option for me to engage with paid parking in Camden anonymously was eliminated intentionally. Cash is discriminated against because it can't be tracked. And yes, I know I'm being tracked all over the place already, but that doesn't mean I'm okay with it. A lot is being done without my consent, and wherever I can, I educate myself and make the choice to withdraw my consent. Money is valuable, but it is our consent that is our true currency. And this is why invasive corporate surveillance programs have to be sold fraudulently to small town folk as more convenient or a way to raise revenue. How many people in this room who signed up for the resident parking program were informed by the town of Camden that their vehicle, and therefore their mobility patterns, their movement, not just in Camden, but anywhere in the world where they have their smartphone open with the Flowbird app, would be fed into the AI database of a multinational corporation headquartered in France with data centers in Sweden and Canada? Was anyone informed of that? No. Yes, that's what I'm getting to. Paid parking is the way that it has been deployed in Camden is not about revenue. It is about tracking. Data, 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 data. That's what we keep on hearing. Pay attention. At the bottom of that PDF you are directed to a web address, flowbird.group/smartcity/US. Why does an address that includes Smart City redirect to Flowbird's homepage? What is a smart city? This is from Wikipedia. A smart city is an urban model that leverages technology, human capital, and governance. Smart cities use digital technology to collect data and operate services. Data is collected from citizens, devices, buildings, or cameras. In a smart city, data sharing extends to businesses, citizens, and other third parties who can derive benefit from using that data. The acronym SMART, it is an acronym, was first used for a computer component, and it stands for Self-Monitoring, Analysis, Reporting Technology. In other words, it is surveillance technology. Specific to Flowbird, this corporate entity wants to surveil our travel and mobility so they can better understand how to incentivize and control it. This is social engineering. In Flowbird's PR materials, they speak about their kiosks being deployed. Deploy is a word we use for things like weapons, things that will interrupt, if not destroy, the organic order and life of real humans and real communities. We in Camden are a real human community with all of its beauty and all of its, squabbles. Flowbird, on the other hand, is a multinational corporation in the smart city space, along with the likes of Flock, Axon, and Palantir. Flock and Axon deploy surveillance cameras equipped with automatic license plate readers and facial recognition technology, already deployed in Auburn, Falmouth, South Portland, Lewiston, and York. And Palantir partners with Flock to feed identity and mobility data to entities like the IDF and ICE. Flock and Palantir have a formal partnership. Flowbird does not yet. But their project manager, Anton Michon, was also a deployment strategist at Palantir. So everyone in the smart city space is really cozy. And I bet they love that we're arguing over things like employees doing the 2-hour shuffle and what color we should paint our parking lines. It's amazing to me to see business owners and individuals in Camden who protest ICE and then ironically support the very surveillance programs ICE depends on. And if ICE and the IDF don't concern you, that's fine. I would just say, wait a few years, maybe a couple of election cycles, you might find yourself on the other side of the corporate surveillance smart city grid. This is not a partisan politics issue. This is not even a parking issue. This is a human issue. Small towns are the front lines where the pushback against the technocracy and corporatocracy can still have an effect. Our consent is our currency. We should spend it wisely.
Thank you. Anybody else? I see two online. Good. Yep, we really do have to.
Okay, I'll just be like a minute here.
Thank you.
I'm Jonathan Ives. I live on Main Street in Camden, and I'd encourage you to end paid parking because it's fraudulent and illegal. In the Camden Town Charter, it says, "It shall be the duty of the town manager to erect appropriate signs giving notice thereof, and no such regulations shall be effective unless said signs are erected and in place at the time of any alleged offense." That's our town charter. In the main state law, it says municipalities cannot enforce a parking regulation if at the time of the violation, an official sign is not in proper position and sufficiently legible to be seen by an ordinarily observant person. So I walked around Camden today, and the only place it says pay to park is as you're going down between the Sea Dog and what is that, Swans Island Blanket Company? It says pay by plate parking. That's the only sign in the whole town. So I think that's kind of fraudulent. If anyone has even accrued a ticket, then it should be refunded. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Hi, Jessica Wheeler, Camden. I think I'm going to kind of be in the minority here. I want to start by saying thank you for explaining all of the money side of it. That was very helpful. It sounds like pay by parking is going to end. So I want to know who's on the hook for getting rid of these kiosks. They have to go away. Who is going to be, where's that money coming from? Can you tell me that? Because we spent all this money putting them all over town, painting the lines, doing all that, not doing a very good job of explaining it. There used to be a sign down in the public landing that said, from May to October, these were the times, this is how much. You took it away. You put all the 2-hour signs back up all over town, and now people are very confused. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. You're going to obviously end this. How are you going to, where are the funds coming from to get rid of them all?
We have not gone down there. Unfortunately, they're basically held together by 4 bolts to go ahead.
No, not physically. Who's paying for them?
Paying
Who
to,
will pay for, are the Camden taxpayers are going to be on the hook for now removing them? That's going to cost money, right? So who's paying for it?
Well, we also have a deficit, which will be over $400,000, and that's probably going to have to fall on the taxpayers.
Right. So this town loves to spend money. So you are also willing to just throw it all away. Can't we just let it run, bring in some proceeds, and can the money from the kiosks that we make, can those proceeds be used to pay for the kiosks? I know that there are regulations where the money can be spent, how it can be spent. Can that money be used to pay off the kiosks?
The kiosks we own outright.
Okay.
Yep. So any revenue that comes in will just replenish the funds in that specific special revenue fund.
All righty.
Yeah.
So, but we're on the hook for a lot of money, a lot of money.
Yep.
And people, it's going to
That's
come
correct.
out of our pockets and people don't. And so you.
And hopefully they can be sold.
Sold, but they've been vandalized. So, yeah.
thank you.
That's too bad.
Thank you. Yeah, let's just handle ones here first. Yes, please. Yep. We'll get to you, Barb and Ben. We've got one more person with a hand raised here. I know it's hard for you to see.
Bridget Quayle from Belmont Avenue. And I just wanted to share an experience I had yesterday because I was driving and I was contemplating whether to go to Hannaford or come downtown to go to French and Braun. I drove downtown and into town, and there were parking places for me to park for 15 minutes to run into French and Bowman, get what I needed for supper, and go home. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. Was there one more person with a hand up here? Actually, now we've got three. Go ahead, Jeff. Well, yes, after Jeff.
It's got to be something
That's fine.
new
2
that
minutes,
hasn't
right?
been said.
Jeff Scott, Ames Terrace.
Thank you, Jeff.
One thing I'm curious about, I wish Bill was here because I'm not clear. This is speaking from the budget committee.
Yep.
Once the town approves the money, the budget in our vote, does the select board have the authority to take it away? And I looked at the Maine municipal law and it says the select board cannot unilaterally overrule a budget that has been legally passed by voters at a town meeting. And I hope that you guys talk about that. I know Sarah mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but maybe not as clearly. I don't know.
That's a good question, Jeff. If we
have you
voted
asked?
to get rid of that, I'll ask Bill that tomorrow,
Yeah.
And any vote would be contingent on any legal issues.
That would be
of course.
good. And the second paragraph,
Yeah.
under Maine law, select board generally does not have the unilateral authority to cancel or remove a specific revenue item
Okay.
adopted by voters at a town meeting.
Okay.
So-
Thank you.
No, the budget was.
Budget.
The budget was approved and the paid parking program was in
Was
the
in the
budget. So that is
budget.
a vote of the people
On the
that
budget.
passed this program into action.
Ben, you've had your hand up for a bit, and then Barb after that.
Yeah, several items. I think I think the signage problem, 2 weeks ago, both sides of this argument agreed the signage was poor. And I saw that in action, with a friend to lunch, walked him out to his car on Bayview Street, asked him, he lives here in the summertime, he knows the town. How did you do with the paid parking? And he goes, what paid parking? He just didn't know it. That is, the data you did put in the select board pack is woefully inadequate. You're not showing usage. You could very easily show us percentage of use of spaces. You're getting that information from cars, and you didn't. And then you started this discussion with a whole bunch of other numbers that you didn't put in the packet. I object strongly to that. I studied this a lot. I spoke to Holly a bunch to try to understand what's in the packet. In that conversation, I learned that there are signs. The town has already bought paid parking signs that are right here in town, ready to go up where the 2-hour signs are. And Chris, I'd like to know if you're aware of that and if you encourage or discourage those signs to be put up.
Yes, I've seen the signs. I would think that the signs some people really don't like having additional signs. Something smaller might be nicer.
So you discouraged existing signs to be put up.
That's not my call to make on those particular signs that I've seen one. Yeah.
I think it's a vote of the select board to put any signs up on the roadway. So, that's not,
Yeah.
that's not.
Before us, that's
No.
a specific question.
Okay, a few other things.
Be quick, please.
Yes, I'm trying.
Yep.
You've given
I
people a
know.
lot of time. As said, half the goal of this system is making more space available. I've been riding my bike, I have for years around town, and I've made a point of observing what's going on once, twice a day. Today, 1:30 p.m., I rode around quite a bit of the paid parking. On Bayview Street, there were 2 or 3 available spots. At the public landing, there were 4, and no cars, one circling, waiting for somebody to back out of a spot. On the main street headed towards Rockland, there was 1 space, 2 or 3 15-minute things available. The Mechanic Street lot, there was 1, Mechanic Street 1, and then 2 blue ones beyond. This was the goal. This looks near the objective of not 100% usage, not saturation, so nobody can find a spot, wander away. I'm hearing that from many people who weren't paying much attention to this whole argument, who are saying, well, I can get a spot now. I think I heard Ken say in this conversation that he wants to see it run through this rest of the season, and I hope that's what I heard. I thoroughly understand that you, Chris, and Bobby ran against paid parking, but I want to agree with Chris O. and others who've said you can satisfy, I think, your constituents by doing it in a slower, more deliberate process, gathering more data, having a good committee, putting up a referendum about it. And, you're breaking precedents here by, over negating a budget, turning away money. You also ran on lower taxes.
I know. All right, Ben, I got to move on. Thank you for your comments. Barb, please. You're on mute, Barb. Barb, you're on mute.
Yeah. Hi, sorry, Barb Oland, Hardin Avenue. A couple of things, I just want to comment on some of the things people said. It's clear a lot of people have not read the parking study by John Burke, which is really good, or watched some of the videos, because the gentleman who was saying we were sold a bag of goods and we were not making as much money as was expected. And that's largely because we shrunk the area that he had recommended we have paid parking. We lowered the number of hours by a lot. We lowered the price to almost as low as it could go. It was also highly recommended by every other town that does this to have, I'm not sure the wording, after 2 hours, the price is supposed to go up a little bit. So people couldn't just park in one spot for 8 hours and have $2 an hour for the whole day. And the third thing is for the woman who is from Rockport and other towns who said they can't come to Camden anymore. She thinks it's predatory. There's like 20 15-minute spots all right in the downtown area that you can run in to French and Braun or Zoot or the bank or the library, the post office. There's plenty of them. And so to say that they can't come into town anymore because they don't want to spend the money on parking, it's just naive. And the third thing was the reason why we've had 3 different parking studies over the 40 years I've been here or so, and all of them have recommended seasonal paid parking, is largely because business owners in downtown Camden, which we all want to support, have complained there aren't places for their customers to park. And the parking study finds out, especially John Burks, who did a more high-tech version, found out a lot of the spaces are used by people who work in downtown Camden, the business owners and their employees. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them spaces were used by the same people who wanted more spaces. So all the woman who from the Lavender Place, who most of those business owners don't live in Camden, not all, but most of them don't even live in Camden. And there's plenty of free parking within, a tenth of a mile away that they could park their car all day for free. But apparently they want to park in front of their store or nearby. And you got to keep that in mind. You can't have your business owners, employees park nearby all day for free and have plenty of places for your customers. You can't have both
Okay,
places.
can we,
Okay, thank
can
you,
we turn
thank
this
you.
back to the board for discussion?
One
We cannot-
moment,
No,
please.
we cannot.
Yes, Doc, excuse me, Doc Wallace, you've yet to speak, and that'll be
Heard
the end
anything
of
new
that for
at
now.
this meeting that I haven't already heard at every.
Okay.
I'll be real quick. Just forget all about the money and everything else. The board made a mistake. They put paid parking in. They didn't ask the town. They had a right to do it, I know illegally, but they didn't ask the town. We don't like it. And so I couldn't care less how much money we're losing right now in this. It's not that much. We're going to get that much money anyways. And so as far as I'm concerned, by all means, suspend paid parking tonight and do not put us in a situation where because of the 100,000 or 200,000 or whatever dollars it is, it's a small part. Just like if you did the big number and put it across the entire property tax base, you'd see it doesn't really do diddly. And it's not going to do diddly to it either if we take it out tonight. So don't use the idea that, well, we're going to lose a lot of money as a form of hostage taking for us to stick around and have this thing carry on. Only 8 towns in the whole state have paid parking. And I'm telling you, Camden would be the smallest of them all. Ridiculous. We don't need paid parking. Business people don't want it. The citizens basically don't want it. If you took a vote, it would be massive against paid parking. Stop it.
Thank you. Okay. Let's turn it back to the board. One, we would need a motion concerning this item and then discussion. Do we have a motion concerning a vote to suspend paid parking on the streets for the 2026 season?
I'll make a motion to do that.
Can you turn your mic, please?
I'll make a motion to suspend paid parking on the streets and to continue it on the public landing.
If we don't have another second, I will second that. Any further discussion at the board?
I will just say again, I mean, I think I understand there are frustrations but there are many people we've heard from who also don't have any problems with it. And the only way to find out the way to make the program work is to let it run. And the will of the people is very much to have some public vote on this. As I said at the last meeting, I think it would be better to try and do that in June when we could actually take some time to review the data. In the idea of your committee that we discussed last was good, but you need some time. So I would even say like not a November vote, but a June vote. That throws some challenges into budget process, I know. So maybe, but yes, like you want to go forward and put a vote of the people and let that be decided that way. I won't object to that. I have no problem with that, but let's do it with all of the information we can have. And let's make that an actual, we've got a petition, we've got all these things coming, like, let's not make it a vote of the board.
Thank you.
Let's let the program run.
Susan, you're on mute. Would you like to make a comment? You don't have to, if you don't want to.
You know, I mean, Jessica, your argument is very compelling. And I also avoid giving information away without justification. I have not gotten a Camden parking pass, but I wasn't aware of the extent to which this data is being, what's that word? Harvested and all of that. And so that really gives me pause. I mean, apart from all of the rest of this. As I said, I just think that it's just far too divisive in town for us to continue to battle over this. The revenue piece is, it will impact people. I am concerned about that. I own property, I pay taxes. I don't mind paying my taxes. I know people for whom that is a challenge. And I feel that we have a responsibility as a board to do what we can to offset that. But I honestly am absolutely heartbroken at the extent to which this community has been ripped apart over this. And I don't want to continue to be a party to it. So I would say, if it's the feeling of the board and it's the feeling of the majority of people who have spoken up to pull the plug on it, I am not going to oppose that, because I don't care enough about the revenue side to see this town continue to be torn apart over an issue such as this.
Thank you. Counter Bob?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Circling back to where I started, so a mistake has been made. The question is, how do we move ahead? How do we make the town whole? And as I said before, I am leaning in the direction, knowing that there will be a vote in November, I'm quite sure. The advantage of letting it ride would be to collect some data, collect some money.
Please let Ken finish.
The rollout has been chaotic, and so the first few weeks, I think the data is going to be useless because it doesn't make sense to rely on sketchy data. And the hole in the budget does concern me. I think if we can come out slightly ahead on one season, we will have a season under our belt. And I'm afraid we're going to take some lumps if we let it ride for this season, but that's the way I'm headed.
Okay. With that, we do have a motion and a second. So those in favor to suspend paid parking on the streets of Camden for this 2026 season, those who want to suspend it? Is that 3 approve? So those opposed, we have 2. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. And I think there'll be work that we can further do, maybe on the public landing and increasing. You need your.
I do think you need.
Folks, we haven't actually adjourned the meeting,
not adjourned the
so
meeting,
we
yes.
still have some stuff on the agenda.
Thank you. We do have. Thank you. Yes, the meeting is still continuing. And we will, that's right, Jeff, we will check with Bill tomorrow on the legal issue on the budget side. So if we do get word from the town attorney that we have to go ahead and abide by the law, we sure will do that on that particular case. Thank you very much, Jeff, for bringing that up. We definitely don't want to put the town at risk for not doing something in accordance with the laws and ordinances, for sure. So thank you. The other items up the next, we only have 2 items left on the agenda. One is select board reports. And do we have any select board reports? No. I just have one thank you to the town manager to ensure that we had quick action on the aquarium downtown at the public landing. And however that made happen to get that removed, that was great. So thank you. I don't know who did the work, but it does look nice down there. And maybe, if we could get, the Town of Camden Flowers Group to go ahead and fill those, that would be great. But that's the only select board report. Yes. For those who'd like to make a motion to adjourn at 9:53.
So moved.
Any second? Please. All those in favor?
I just want to point out that the next meeting is a special meeting. You may want to say something.
Yeah, the next meeting, August 4th, will be our planning meeting, and we will be inviting people to comment on items.
It's a regular meeting, but
It'll be a planning meeting, yes.